Hey, this ain't a drill. Only time I'm playing is on the field. And when I'm on the field, no, I got mad skills. And you know we bout to eat this a fast meal. Y'all gotta pay for this heat like a gas bill. We keep on coming back, so yeah, they mad still. Everyone sick, make them pay me some bad bills. Red, white, and blue like Superman, so you know we eating at the Super Bowl. Kill the competition, set up the funeral. Josh Allen catching all the shots you go for. We callin' blitz. Ready to start, we ain't calling no quits. I'm the #1 draft pick. A lot of y'all talk, but I ain't hearing it. Only listen to Keyshawn and hit talk about the Bills dominating on the field. All our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill when we talk about the Bills dominating on the field, and our players got them skills. Buffalo gon' make a kill.
What's going on? Welcome back to another live episode of the Post Podium Podcast, home of the all truth, no sodium takes. I am your co-host Aramis.
Just before the keys, and that be
producer in the building.
Boom,
You know what it is.
Bam, with that cool low light. That cool low light.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I like that.
He got cognac in there. Or something.
Oh my gosh, Keith, get to it, bro.
He got some yak.
Bro, get to it.
All right, so look, we got a lot of stuff to get to. And we got time today.
We have time today.
Yeah, okay. All right, we got a little bit of time today, so this should be fun. Strap in. I apologize to everybody. I did put a 5:30 start time, but my schedule was off.
Yeah, that's on me. That's on me.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's on me.
Keith.
I set the time. Nico says, "What up, guys? Time for some pessimistic outlook on the
Yo,
team."
guess what? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's all gonna be.
I'm gonna
positive.
have some critique, but it goes with exercise. So.
Well, okay, then let's hold on a second. Hold on a second. Let's get this out the way.
Yeah.
All right, that was probably extremely loud.
It's okay. Woke him up.
I want to tell everybody a story real quick.
Go tell him a story.
Okay, very short story, I promise.
Doesn't have to be. It's all good.
Okay. That in high school, both played the same position, and they came up through the ranks. One player ended up going to the SEC, and another player went to the Big Ten. And both of these players played very well. One played better than the other. And their careers in college were both very good. Obviously, one's better than the other, as I stated. Okay. And the entire time that teams were ranking these players, scouting these players, trying to, recruit these players. The player that everybody thought was the best was always the one that was, that everybody was going to first, right? Everybody was choosing this player that they thought was the best. And there was this other player that was behind him that was kind of getting lost in the mix, right? And kind of being overlooked in a sense. Well, all through college, the player that everybody thinks is great continues to play great, right? And ends up being the best player at his position. And the other player that kind of came up through the ranks, who played in the SEC, did pretty good. Wasn't bad, did pretty good, but was still kind of overlooked in a sense. Right. And then, and this is where everybody's going to start to get this. In the 2025 NFL draft, that player that got overlooked pretty much the whole entire time that they had been playing football got picked before the player that everybody thought was way better. If by now you haven't figured this out, you need to get some coffee.
Well, you got to know he went to the SEC because a lot of people don't associate that school with being an SEC school.
Well, right. That's true. That's true. But for those of you who know,
if you know, you know.
Right. For those of you that don't know, I'm referring to Maxwell Hairston and Will Johnson. Okay. Now, here's the thing. Yes, Laura already. Yes.
What that mean? Hold on.
she said the alarm already. Yeah, we already getting negative.
Right.
What's going on, y'all? So the reason I tell this story is Will Johnson was named as the number one corner in Arizona. Like,
Congratulations.
this was 2 weeks ago
Mhm.
that he would, he had the conversation. He was told, you in there, right? And so far, everything that we've heard coming from minicamp was, man, Hairston's getting torched by Coleman. Hairston got beat by Shavers. Hairston struggling. Hairston this, Hairston that, right? And one of the things that I remember talking about during the draft when we drafted him was his ability to process is not as fast as it needs to be in order for him to play fast. Then you have the GM come out and say, well, he doesn't play as fast as his 40 time. Then you combine that with his shuttle drill, which reflects not so great at cutting on a dime and changing direction and all that kind of stuff. He can flip his hips and run. If it's a post route, if it's a go route or something like that, where it's just a simple hip flip and run, he can handle that. But the second Andy Reid finds out and does a little bit of scouting, the second Bobby Johnson finds out and does a little bit of any offensive coordinator, just do a whip route on him. Mm-hmm. then what's he? You know what I mean? So anyway, long story short, it's very hard to understand the justification of the pick when, as I'm learning more about, and keep in mind, these guys know each other, right? They came out of the same training programs, and they were in a lot of the same circles. They played 7-on-7 together. So like they know each other. So this was really truly a scenario where the Bills picked the guy that they liked more and decided to go with him real quick. Thank you, Oli. Appreciate that, bro. They picked the guy that they liked better and decided to go with him versus the highest rated or the best player at that position. Now, they passed up on that player twice. And here we are. First chance we get to hear about Maxwell Hairston, and it's coming out as he's getting destroyed. That is the opposite of what we've been hearing about Will Johnson in Arizona, who's already got the number one job. So this is one of those scenarios where when you and I would talk about drafting dogs, like drafting real blue chip players, mm-hmm. This is kind of what we were referring to, is the ability for the Bills to identify the best talent available and then go and get that guy, right? And here's the thing. Based on everything that was in both guys' scouting reports, there were no character issues, none. So it really just came down to which guy they liked better. And that's who they ended up going with, regardless of talent. And the reason I'm saying all this right now is for everybody to understand this is how the team that we love operates right now. For better or worse, regardless of talent levels, they're going to go with the guy they like best. So it doesn't matter if it makes sense. It doesn't matter if it's justified. They will find a way to justify it, and we just got to accept that. It is what it is until it's not. So for better or worse, we will move on to bigger and better things. But I really thought that was very interesting. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Sean Murphy Bunting was and if I'm not mistaken, Byron Murphy.
I don't know if he's still there.
Yeah, I don't think he was there anymore, but Sean Murphy Bunting is there. Will Johnson is there. They still got the they still got the young safety Buda Baker. I mean, they got good players. It's not like they're nobodies. We saw them last year.
Boo says, so Patrick Ewing needs had nothing to do with it. It's Patty Ewing. Oh, man.
Vu. Let me be clear about this.
It's too early.
If I wasn't clear already, let me be extremely clear about this.
Key story for this, bro.
The knee was there was a surgery done on the knee in his sophomore year, Will Johnson's sophomore year. Since that time, after he did the surgery, he had no issues whatsoever. Not a nick, not a twinge, not a sprain, not a nothing. The worst thing he had earlier this season was a pulled hammy during training. That was it, and that was gone by draft time. So there was no like this is why I love having this conversation, because this exposes a lot of what the Bills do to fans. They pour into us a lot of this, biased information, like, oh, well, he had a red flag on his injury report. And then we take that and we run with it as, oh, he had bad knees. Well, that's not true. I mean, I gave everybody the documentation of that and told you what it said, a day after the draft?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like to be clear, the knees were never an issue, right? But we decided to go with the guy that wasn't as great. And this is not to say, again, to be clear, this is not to say that Maxwell Hairston cannot be a good player for this team. But when we're talking about those guys that are going to get us over the hump, you heard your offensive coordinator talk about we need to consistently get better every year. Now, right now, Trey White is CB2 based on what we've been hearing.
That's true.
So Hairston being a first-round pick and then Dorian Strong being a sixth-round pick, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yep,
yeah, Dorian.
Yep.
So are we just rehashing Elam and Benford all over again and hoping that it pans out the same way? Or I'm sorry, hoping that it pans out the opposite way this time? Like, let the sixth-round pick just be a guy, and hopefully Maxwell Hairston becomes the guy that blossoms and blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, these are the nuanced things that I'm paying attention, but it doesn't seem like anybody else is paying attention or being willing to ask questions. Why is my camera not focusing?
Because we're very murky and blurry.
Yeah, I guess. Well, yours was fixed
for now.
Right, for now. So anyway,
hold on, take a look.
All right, thank you.
Oh, the mechanic. Take a look at it. He'll come out with a black and mild and his belt on. That's a distributor cap right there.
Yeah. But again, huh? Renaissance says, I'm not worried about what Will Johnson is doing in Arizona. That's Arizona again. We're in June. Bruh, look, this time frame, this period of time with OTAs and minicamp and all that kind of stuff, this should have been the time where Hairston looked the best, because there's no pads. It is literally all just pure athleticism on the field. The fastest guy with the best athleticism should look the best in these times. Excuse me, but once you get to it's the furthest one. Yeah. No, that's the Zoom. It's the one ahead of that, or behind it rather. There should be two of those there. No. Okay. All right. Tap the screen and tap it right in the middle and make sure that it's staying focused on that one spot. So anyway, to address that comment, look, I think just about anybody who knows the game would say this is the time where guys like Hairston should be shining. And the fact that he's not is a little troubling. Now, when you factor into that, yeah, I'm sure they're giving him the plays and they're giving him the playbook and all that kind of stuff and seeing what he knows and what he can retain and all that kind of stuff. Cool. But past all of that, there shouldn't be anybody on this team that should be able to beat him that badly. And no disrespect to Keon Coleman at all, but one of the biggest knocks on Keon Coleman is that he's not the best route runner. Right? Now, I'm not saying that's what it is, but if that's the reputation you're coming into the league with, founded or unfounded, and then you end up beating up on a kid that is supposed to be quite possibly the most athletic corner the Bills have ever had, with the speed and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't look great. And we're not even talking about Arizona and everything that I just said. The whole reason I'm bringing up Will Johnson is we had 2 shots at him and we turned it down. So now we're going to have to look at the comparison between Will Johnson and Hairston and Will Johnson and TJ Sanders.
I think you got to add in Trey Amos too, because that's another name that was linked to Buffalo.
Yeah.
More so than Will Johnson, because that's the first thing that people are going to say is I told you so if Trey Amos is good. I told you so. And the only thing I'll say is you should have traded back. I'm gonna probably say that regardless. But yeah, I mean, I get it, But when I think about this, I think about, is the moment too big? Is he awestruck by Josh Allen being back there? Is it Keon Coleman? Is it that he's thinking about buffalo wings and that blue cheese he was eating in the promo?
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I'll give him some grace. I'm not worried about him getting towards just yet. I mean, I got to see stuff. I got to see it, and I need to see it over and over again, because I don't want to see what I don't want to see more than anything is for the Bills to give up after something that a rookie does.
Yes,
that's the thing.
Exactly.
I don't want. I don't want them to give up on anybody that's just come into the organization, and they're still learning the position on this level at the speed. So yeah, I mean, Will Johnson might be somebody that we may say, man, he was the number 1, but maybe Hairston can turn into the number 2.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think maybe if he can just stay consistent and get in the playbook and let us slow down for him, because like you said, Bean said he doesn't play like a 4-2-8 guy.
Right.
He plays like a 4-3 guy. What the hell is 200ths of a you can tell the difference? So you can tell the difference. But you can't tell not to sign Von Miller.
Exactly.
You can't tell not to do all these other things you do, but you can tell that, right? So I mean, my thing is, when I listen to how Perino and all those guys that can see it talk about it, I just kind of like, okay, let me just take a look at it. Let me get to the blue and red game, and then after that, if it's still pretty bad, then Trey White. If it's still, because they already wanted Trey White, they already wanted Dane Jackson, they already wanted somebody on the team to be the 2. So if it's going to be uphill climb for Hairston as we stand, I didn't want to get off your point, but there were some points that were in here.
Sure.
And he wanted to talk about, I think it was a Colt 45 in there. You got to change the name anyway.
I agree with that, by the way. He says, let's see when live fire hits. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my hope is that changes something. Maybe he's a little bit more physical and needs that ability to put his hands on receivers in order to be that effective. We got to see.
Yeah. And I think he asked about Jair Alexander, and he said, are we going to do this? Yes or no? I hope not. Well, actually, I feel good about it. I feel even better now that he's released than if it was a trade, because you can't afford him. Now you just can't afford him, because he's not going to come to Buffalo for this, for sure. And that, so I'm like, yes.
But I mean, look, we got to be honest about this. If they did bring Alexander in here, he's instantly the best corner on the team, bar none. I'm sorry. Like there's no, based on what he puts on the field.
That's the problem. What he puts on the field is not his butt. He puts his butt in the infirmary.
I get it. But that to me is more of an indication of, how can I put this? The Packers ran a lot of man. You know what I'm saying? Because they that's what they wanted to do. One positive thing about Hairston, he's a very nice guy.
There you go.
He's a very nice guy.
That's good. It's cool. I can take that. Yeah, I can dig it.
Handsome dude. You know what I'm saying?
I can dig it. He likes blue cheese.
See, I mean, he's got to be good if he likes blue cheese.
He's fast as. I ain't gonna say the word.
Look, okay. I don't want to keep hashing this out with everybody, but can we stop? Like, oh, here we add Hairston to the bashing list. Oh, now are we being negative? Like, can we please just have a conversation?
I'm having a conversation.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's gonna get categorized like that every time, then why even be here?
Oh wow! I just saw Sly Stone died.
Who?
So Sly Stone from the Family Stone.
Sly Stone.
Yeah, Sly Stone died at 82. Wow.
I'm not sure.
Thank you for letting me be myself. Have fun in the summertime.
These are songs?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Sly and the Family Stone is a funk group from the 70s and 80s.
He's about to kill me, bro.
He was out there. Huh?
He's about to kill me.
Which one? Oh,
yeah. I just literally just saw that pop across my screen. I'm like, oh man, yeah. See, Billy no slide. Yeah. And I mean, he was very influential in the movement of the late 60s and 70s, 80s. Well, not 80s, but his legacy lived on, even though he disappeared from the limelight for a long time.
Okay. Yeah, AF is the autofocus. You would have to turn it off in order to adjust it. Just leave it. I mean, if it's just an autofocus thing, we'll deal with it.
It's good enough. I mean, you don't need to see me.
Who cares?
But no, I think I think obviously.
Thank you, Kev. Fanboys hate conversation. That's what it feels like. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just trying to have a conversation, and not like the other side of this though is like I know a few people connected to Max Hairston.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, none of the stuff that I say on the show is stuff that I'm afraid to say in front of it. Like, because I'm not saying this from a personal perspective of I don't like the guy, so I'm gonna try to talk as much bad about him as I can. Like, this is all documented stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's literally like me pulling out a piece of paper with all his statistics on it and saying your shuttle time was ranked, 65th. So you're the 65th most agile corner. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a negative thing. That is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So again, the perspective portion of how people feel about what I'm saying is kind of got to be put on the back burner, and just understand, like, this is real stuff. If you went and did the research, or if you had the connections that I have and talked to the people that I talk to that know that know him from way back when he was in high school, you would be saying the same stuff because it's just factual information. Sure, that's all it is.
Sure. I think what it is, I think, and this is not me trying to be better, because I'm more on the side of the folks in the comments. Not that I'm opposing anything you said, but because I don't have any connections or anything. So I go based on what I read and what I hear and this, that, and third. That's all I got. But I think you're right. You have to be able to have a conversation right now. I think what it is with people is the new shiny toy. And we see how they talk about anybody that comes in and does anything for the Bills. You can't talk about them. Do not.
That and hope.
Yeah.
Because right now he represents the biggest hope for the Bills this season. Yeah. Filling a big need for the Bills and being that new toy that you hope kind of fulfills all of your positive desires. You know what I'm saying? Like, my hope is that Hairston comes in and he's a star, week one, and we get to live this lavish life of having 2 number 1 corners and everything's like, that's something to get excited for. I get it. And if somebody comes in and says, you know what, there's actually a stain on the wedding dress you just bought.
Right.
Like, nobody wants to hear that. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. But wouldn't you want somebody to tell you if there's a stain on your wedding dress?
Right.
Like, or would you want them to just let you walk out there looking sloppy?
Yo, I'm doing my thing, like, except for right there.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is supposed to be, let's bring out the truth so that the situation or the issues can be addressed and fixed. Now, I'm not in charge of that. Nobody here on this show, nobody watching this show is in charge of that. I hope not. I'm kidding.
If you are,
right? Yes, exactly.
Make sure you subscribe, like, hit that little bell, make it go ring-a-ling-a-ling, so you can get notifications when we send notifications.
Because trust me, if we found out there was somebody who could make decisions,
you get my phone number.
There would be a whole lot of notifications.
Mm-hmm.
Roy is kind of upset because he wanted to rant and he didn't get it.
Oh, is that what it was? So Roy is saying, so basically you believe Bean and his staff didn't do their homework on Hairston before drafting him? Damn it, I want to rant. You're trying hard. No, look, what I'm saying is, and this is what the staff has said already about, well, let me say this. This is what they've inferred by both what they said and what they didn't say as far as their approach to drafting players.
Right.
They look for the character of the guy first. When you hear Brandon Beane talk about his decisions and the players that he drafted, that's what he looks for first. They look for the guy. They want to get to know the guy. The reason they have the top 30 come in is so that Beane and Sean can get to know the guy better. Then after that, they start going back and looking at the tape. Okay, we know we like this guy, and this guy after we met them, and we feel like they would be a good fit for the locker room. Now let's finalize our stance on what they put on the field.
Yeah.
So it's almost as if they do a generic level of scouting at first, and then they get all the scouting reports back, and they figure out who the high character guys are, and they talk to those guys. Whichever of those guys they love the most, those guys go up on the board, and then they draft from that board.
Yeah,
like that. That's straight from their mouth. That's not me putting words in their mouth. If you go and watch all of Brandon Beane's interviews from this offseason, you will reach that conclusion.
Yeah, I mean that's the epitome of the culture guys. We got to draft our culture guy, a fit. I think when they interviewed Babbage in the press conference presser last week, and he said about Michael Hoyt, he said we have him and I have to figure out where he fits. I got to figure out what we do with him. Like, what? You pay $7 million a year to somebody you don't know where he fits yet? How?
Right. Exactly.
And to Videsh's point, I wish I would have left it up, but it was basically what he asked. Yes, it's in here somewhere. There it is. He said, "Can anyone confirm that Von Miller told Beane, wow, I can't say anything anymore, to make up a contract and they'll sign it? If that's the case, do we have room for Von? If he says he wants to play with Murray?" I cannot confirm that, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. I doubt it did, honestly. Can we afford it? Yes. But think about this. If you're talking about Von Miller, you're going to pay him league minimum, which is $1.7 million, I believe, against the cap. But he's already counting 16 plus against the cap from his cut. So basically, you're paying Von Miller $18 million this year, in essence, to play for you after you sign Joey Bosa.
And you only have $1.6 million cap space.
You're the worst team in the league in terms of cap space, and that's based on 51. Wait till it goes to 53.
Yeah.
We got to restructure people just to make our cap compliant before we play a game. So if you want Von, I don't think they should let him go. I've said this numerous times.
Mm-hmm. At least not until next year when his cap hit would have been way lower.
Right. I mean, you let him go and then you went and got Bosa, which is pretty much a slower Von.
Yeah.
Basically. And yeah, you could make room, you could restructure a couple of people, but do you want to do that for Von Miller? That's the question. Do you want to how much do you want to do to make him fit under a cap in a bloated room already? You got rookies, you got second year, you got Gregory, so you just resigned. You have Hoyt, you still to figure out what you want to do with him. You have Landon Jackson and Javon Solomon and waiting in the wings to get their playing time. So I think I'd leave it alone. Unless Bosa's injury makes it so that he's not going to play. Mm-hmm. Because Von Miller coming in Buffalo knows he's not going to play a lot. Coming back, he already knows that.
Yeah,
that's just like with Trey White. They had a hard, honest conversation. I'm sure. I like that conversation. I like that phrase now, hard, honest conversation, because it means nothing, but it just sounds like I'm very open with everybody. But yeah, no, and I think Von knows the parameters. He knows he's going to play no more than 30% of the snaps. Third downs probably, which is what they told him last year when he just never were on the field. They couldn't get off the field for second and third down. They just kept giving first down. So he just stood there strapping and unstrapping his chin strap. But yeah, I think if they really needed to in a pinch, if somebody gets hurt, and Von Miller to be the first in line. So I watch out for what he does. Mm-hmm. You don't hear a lot. Trust me, there are teams out there with like a Von Miller, and you haven't heard a lot. And there's a reason.
Right. Alton asks, he said, "What's the connection saying about Cook contract situation?" Yep, I'm bringing up the Cook.
Where's Zoomer? No, where's Zoomer? Because he changed his name as I asked.
Yeah, to Cook Fatigue.
Yes,
it was so good.
I was like, yes.
Based on what I'm hearing the same thing that Adam Schefter put out, which is he's probably not going to be here for mandatory minicamp. So,
I mean, speaking of which, when you think about contract issues, the one thing that really drives me nuts, and I guys, I'm trying to make this as positive as possible, but this is a real thing. I don't understand where his mouth opening and talking all this talk happened. When did it even happen? because we heard about
just
the tweet.
tweets.
We heard about the tweet,
That's
15 mil. We heard about eyeballs when Saquon got or one of them got the contract.
Yeah.
But when you saw him talk to Shea and Ocho, what did he say? He talked about how the top running backs got together and said, we want to try to make this right for us again. He went on that poker show, said, I don't really want to talk about the contract. I want to, let it be what it is. What did he do? I mean, can we tell me? Can we confirm he owned the house that was sold in Buffalo? Can we confirm that? Did anybody confirm that he actually owned the house?
I think excuse me, it was put up on a real estate site.
Well, I know that, but did he own it, or was he leasing it? And was it deed in his name, or what?
No, they usually buy it. It's very easy for players to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. A lot of them I know live in condos and stuff like that until they get into their second contract. So I don't know. I
see what you're saying.
Yeah,
he might have been in a position where it was just easy for him to not have the property.
Yeah. I mean, and my thing is, before we go into this hoopla and all this stuff about making it now, it's going to be a distraction to who? Because we did that. Not on it. Well, yeah, on this show, but every other show and every other media outlet has made it a distraction. The Bills are not mad at him. The Bills are not. I mean, Josh needs to get on the phone and talk to him. Why? Josh is a married man now and doing his honeymoon thing.
Right.
And no, Josh doesn't have to do all that stuff. That's for the agent of James Cook and Brandon Beane and Overdorf and Sean McDermott and Joe Brady to take it. They got to hash that out. James Cook is not even involved in this conversation as much as people think. He said, this is what I want. You go do what you got to do. Now, what I heard earlier today was his agent may not be the best equipped to do this because you know who else he represents, right? And then this is the only other contract they can say they remember him representing, the agent.
Caden Prather?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Caden Prather, the 7th round draft pick. Is who's negotiating your contract. So, I mean, the thing is, like,
he also had Dalvin Cook too.
Yeah, you saw that win.
Yeah, right.
But my thing is, when I'm thinking about contracts, I'm just thinking about why would a guy go into a second contract tell his agent, I want to be in Buffalo? Just get it done. Think about it. Yeah, Shakir did it. Rousseau probably did it. Christian Benford definitely did it. But why is that you have to do that? Why are you not allowed to say, you know what? No, I want to get as much as maximize it. Try to get what you can out of Buffalo. If they're not talking to me, we're going to do what we got to do, and we're going to go elsewhere. Why can't you do that? Why are you a villain for that? Because you didn't show up to a mandatory or voluntary practices, and now you're talking about this is standard. Right. This is people do this all the time.
Exactly.
So I mean, when I'm thinking about this is his one real chance to cash in, and when I say cash in, I mean cash in. And he 15 million, he's trying to cash in. Do you blame him? It's bad for business if you don't. For him, no, just give me what you got. Who's to say the Bills and say we'll give you $5 million? We'll give you $7 million. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think there's a Bills fan alive to say that's fair market value for James Cook. If you are, you're lying to yourself,
right?
But on top of that, this is a trait that's built into the Bills' DNA. They draft guys, they bring in guys that they know will probably be able to retain this guy after his contract exhausts. We'll probably be able to get him. And they think about that in the foresight. We got Josh Allen, but then we can get by with this guy. Mm-hmm. We can get by with that guy. But no, I mean, when you're thinking about where you work, how many of you guys, if your boss said, time to negotiate your new salary, you're gonna say, you know what? I want $100,000.
I want less money.
Right. I want $100,000. Well, we're not giving you $100,000. Well, why not? Because we don't think you're worth it. Oh, okay. So are you not going to go on Indeed? You're not going to go on jobs.com and try to find something else?
Yep.
Are you not going to try to find something that's either going to be easier for you to do or pay more?
Yep.
How many of you guys in the comments tell me the honest to God truth? You'll stay at your job right now for less money because your best friends work there.
or because the managers really like you.
Because your manager really likes you and you like the culture. If you don't work if you're retired and you stay at a job, just don't answer that because obviously you don't need to be working, period.
Right.
But when you're trying to feed your family, and I'm not saying this in a Latrell Sprewell way, I'm not saying this in a $60 million, that's more than enough kind of thing. But think about us, when we're trying to feed our family, we're not going to go somewhere and be like, I'm going to bust my head open in order to try to feed my family based on the fact that my coworkers love me.
So there's very few people like you who would stay at a job that pays them less just because of the atmosphere of the job.
But that's get me a job.
Right. Basically,
I want to work there. Whatever you do.
If your atmosphere is that good that you would take me, I need to know everything y'all do and get me an application.
I'm getting old and stressed.
Right. Right. I wanted to get to this comment up here. There was a couple of them actually.
Go ahead.
Where is it? Here it is. So Renaissance says conversations are a beautiful thing. Everything the Bills do is not roses and dandelions. That's facts. On the flip side, it's not doom and gloom either, right? So there's a duality to it. I would say this. I don't even want to relate what we've been talking about as the conflict between roses and dandelions and doom and gloom, because again, that instills this, or that kind of sets the tone that this conversation is binary, and it's really not. What this is okay. Here's a prime example. Let's say you guys are looking for a new car, right? And you have the car in mind that you want to get. Let's just say it's a Toyota Supra. You know what I'm saying? Like those are nice fast cars. You know what I'm saying? Street racing cars. So you go on, Facebook Marketplace, and you find somebody that's selling one, and the only reason they're getting rid of it is because they're getting married now and they can't street race anymore, blah, blah, blah. Good reason for selling the car. So you go there, you check out the car, and you sit in it, you turn it on, you drive it around, and you love this car. You are so psyched to have this car. You can't even believe the price you get in the car for.
Skyline's better.
You're right. But still,
Skyline's better.
but still. So you get this car and you drive it home, and you are just elated. Like nobody could tell you nothing. You feel like you won. You feel like the whole world is about to be yours, right? But then your uncle comes over, and your uncle's a mechanic, and your uncle's been a mechanic his whole life.
Oh, no. Did you have a Supra?
Huh?
You had a Supra?
I did not have a Supra.
Oh, I'm about to say.
So, but this happened to me before. So your uncle comes and he's like, "Oh, that's a nice car. Pop the hood." And he takes a look up under the hood, finds a mistake with the electrical, finds a mistake with some of the hoses are taped up and stuff like that, and looks like they've been messed up. You know what? I see some stuff up under the hood here that's kind of messed up. You know what? Let's put it on the lift and really check it out. So you put it up on the lift, and you got holes in your exhaust, and your brake lines are a little rotted, and you know what I'm saying? This is all stuff that you didn't feel when you were driving it, because you were so busy looking at the outside. You know what I'm saying? But once you popped it open and put it up on the lift, and you took a deeper look at it, somebody who has a better eye for these kind of things took a look at it and said, well, there's a problem here. You got a lot of problems. Is that uncle being negative about the car? No. What he's doing is he's trying to tell you what's really going on with the car, so that so you can fix it, right? So here's the other part of this, because I'm by no means sitting here saying that I'm an expert, or that I know better than you guys, but I have had a lot of conversations with people connected to the team and who know what's going on and stuff like that, and I just feel responsible to convey that information to you guys. So how I would relate my position and all that is, I'm the uncle that's coming to take a look at the car and calling out the stuff that's wrong. How you guys respond to that is not, well, get away from my car. Don't you being negative about my car, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's not the response. Like, it's really not even about the perspective of finding out what's wrong with the car. The idea is this: if the team has not accomplished what the goal was when they put up that banner in the field house, which was a Super Bowl trophy, and they've gone an extended period of time without accomplishing that goal, it would be foolish to not ask questions as to why they haven't done it yet, right? Because realistically, everything that we talk about on this show, not everything, but most of what we talk about on the show is asking the questions, why isn't this aspect of the team performing like teams that win the Super Bowl? Why isn't the defense performing like a Super Bowl caliber defense in the playoffs? Why isn't the offense performing in the passing game like like the Chiefs did when they were winning Super Bowls. Like we start to ask, okay, what is it about us that's different from them? Because they're winning and we're not. Okay. So when we ask those questions, then we start getting into the scientific method. Okay, well, we have to take everything about this team and line them up against everything about our team and see what's different. And so when we start talking about all these aspects and we start talking about all these, analyses that we do, we come to these conclusions based on the research that we do, and we figure out, okay, this is what's different. Okay, this is what's different. This is what the Bills are doing different. This is what the Bills are doing different. And it's not the Bills are bad for doing it. It's we would like to know why the Bills have chosen to do it differently like that. Because we've seen for many years teams do things like the Eagles. We've seen for many years do teams like the Rams, do things like the Rams and do things like the Chiefs did, where they build these amazing offenses, and the defense is not so great. And then every once in a while, you see a team like the Eagles come along where they're just great on both sides. But that's rare. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather focus on, teams like the Saints that go on and win a Super Bowl, teams like the Colts when they want to see, you know what I mean? Like, what did they have that the Bills are not doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen teams that come out of nowhere and win a Super Bowl. Tampa Bay did it in 1 year. You know what I mean? You get a good quarterback, you got an offensive mind that's working with the quarterback, and you already had weapons on the team. You just added a piece, and it happened to be the greatest of all time. You know what I'm saying? So we can't. It feels like it gets held against us because nobody is talking like we're talking.
Yeah.
But just because nobody's talking like we're talking doesn't mean that we're
It means we're cutting
negative.
Edge. We're cutting edge.
Right. That's how I like to think of it. I mean, what do you think the conversation is going to be if they fire Sean McDermott?
Yeah.
Like, let's consider this for a second. We saw what the conversation was when they traded Steph Diggs. When Steph Diggs was here, it was, oh, that's our guy, blah, blah, blah. We loved it. Alan Diggs for president or whatever, like the
14,
posters.
Yeah, 14 plus 6 equals 14 plus 17 equals 6.
Right. Yeah. So all these things about how much we love Steph Diggs. Day we trade him away. Oh, he's a diva. He did. Blah. Even though the year before that, he was the best teammate on the team for going and being there for Hamlin. Right.
Until he did one thing. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I'm saying all that to show, like, if Sean got fired tomorrow, we would be on Sean's for not getting us to Super Bowls, for not, like, we would destroy Sean McDermott if we fired him tomorrow. And what I'm trying to bring out now is this fan culture that we have of whoever's not on the team is the enemy, and whoever is on the team is beloved. You can't touch him. Don't talk about him.
Right.
Like, we're part of the family. Like, all of us have siblings, right? Most times, siblings have this mindset of, I can bully my little brother. I can talk bad about my little brother or sister. I can talk about all their flaws.
But you better not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So what's really, like, this is the part of self-analysis that we have to go through in our fandom. You know what I mean? These are one of the realest conversations that we can have as a fan base.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, I'll do you one better, Ren. I don't think that the training camp is when the driving starts. I think preseason when the driving starts. Me personally, I mean, I understand, I get it. That's a hell of an investment on a first round draft pick in Hairston and anybody else. You know, Dalton Kincaid and I swear we need to get rid of one of them so I can say their names separate from each other. Dawson Kincaid and Dalton Knox. I'm tired of doing that. I don't want to do that no more because the names are wrong. But yeah, no, I think. You're right in terms of we gotta give a forum, because that's what the show is based on. The show is based on giving a forum to oppose each other in a safe space, and I don't think we had too many people call anybody dumb, and if we have, shame on you.
Yeah,
mean that for real. But this is a safe space to talk where other shows won't allow it. Other shows, the host will stop and take things as they personally. I mean, normally I won't, and I'll just laugh. And A does the same thing, but it does beg to be said. So I think, when if we're talking about the James Cook issue, I wanted to actually do differently and talk around him. Only because I thought it'd be interesting to look at what we have without James Cook on our offense anymore.
Okay.
You know, and you're looking at Ray Davis, Ty Johnson, Darrington Evans,
yep.
and Frank Gore Jr. Those are your four guys that we're encompassing right now. And if it stands, everybody is so concerned about, you know, the James Cook thing and saying that he didn't play in a Jets game and Ray Davis did just fine, whatever. I mean, okay. But if you looked at the Jets and what their ratings are, they're one of the worst run defenses in the league. One of the worst run defenses in the league last year.
100%.
They were three rungs lower than us in overall defensive ranking. So they weren't that great. You know, Ray Davis went 20 for 97 for 4.8 a carry, which is pretty good. That's pretty good. You know, he had a 15-yard carry, and then he went 3 for 55 in the air. One of them was a 42-yard pass. So I'm not going to demolish the point that Ray Davis had a good game, but was that really enough? Was that really enough to say that Ray Davis is the number one guy? Is that enough to say Ray Davis is going to pick all the slack that James Cook left? You know, I think that's the part that I'm worried about. And Alton, he said, I don't want to take your comment down or what happened?
Huh?
What happened?
What's
happening?
happened?
Why does it keep going up and down?
I don't know. I was trying to write a comment.
Uh-oh.
That's probably what happened.
I'm like, we're just getting mad, Sean.
Do that. My bad. Go ahead.
But yeah, no, I was just gonna go to where was it? Oh yeah, I've said it. Alton, I've said it. I've said it on the show. I think Ty Johnson is better than Ray Davis. I honestly, and that's not a slight on Ray Davis. I just think Ty Johnson's bag is deeper if you allow it to be. You know, but I was listening to Locked On the way in, and even Joe Marino said that for all the good that offense has done, we have one of the best running back receiving rooms there is.
Mm-hmm.
And we had James Cook line up in the slot one time. We had, you know, Ray Davis not line up in the slot. So the thing is, when people say, why is Cook not playing on third down? Good question. Why is he not playing on third down? Why is Dalton Kincaid out there? Why can't you put two slots in there with Cook coming out of the backfield and getting matched up with a linebacker?
Yeah.
Why is it that we can't do this? Because nobody said he had to play, you know, 80% of snaps as a running back, but he's a utility piece, been healthy. How many games he missed due to injury? Not many. So, I mean, when you're talking about a guy like James Cook, if you really wanted to capture what he can do, Jeremy White said it best this morning. He said, is Cook's, what did he say? He said, is Cook's utilization really his utilization, or is it by design? In other words, has he capped? Has he reached his ceiling? Or is it that this is what the offense requires of him?
Right.
Because if you're talking about a guy that had 207 carries for 5 yards a carry, 1,000 yards, 16, I'll take that. That is a premium to me. You know, when people know who you are and they know without 17, we got to look at 4.
Right.
We got to look at those. Those are the two guys we got to look at. Then 10, you know, if we got to. But outside of that.
Before the influx of people saying that it's the offensive line that he's benefiting from, because Tommy likes to say this a whole lot. Singletary played behind a worse offensive line. They gave the stat again this morning. Jeremy White did. The stat is yards. What is it? Yards over expected. Yep. Right? Yards over expected. James Cook posted 0.82 yards above expected per carry.
Yep.
Right? And this is amongst that he's 6th amongst all running backs with at least 200 rushes. That makes him top 10.
Yep.
Right? Now here's the other part. He Jeremy White also talked about this morning about the AFC Championship game. And Cook in that game had like 80 yards. Mm-hmm. Right? Now if you factor in this 0.82 yards into that 80, that means the offensive line only helped him get 50 yards. Mm-hmm. In 13 carries.
So what does it say about Thurman Thomas's career?
Right.
What does it say about Ezekiel Elliott when he was making money in Dallas?
Yep.
What does it say about a lot of other guys that everybody's coveting? You know, yeah, okay, there's a lot less offensive lines out there. Yep. But we always wanted that Dallas line. I remember me wanting that line. Like everybody talking about, you know, Martin and all those guys out there. Let me get that. We finally got one. Cool. But it works. Mm-hmm. What I don't understand is why is it that, and I was so happy. I think it was DiBiase this morning. He said it might have been, it might not have been. I'm not sure, but he said that the offensive line contributes to. No, it was Dan Mitchell. Yeah, I actually watched Dan Mitchell again. He said the offensive line contributed to James Cook directly. He said, "I said, okay, fine." But he also said the offensive line contributed to somebody that nobody else talks about because this guy does everything on his own. Josh Allen.
Oh yeah.
So
oh yeah.
Why is it that one guy is leaning on the line and does a lot of stuff with a little bit, when another guy is the messiah of the sport?
Exactly.
You know, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm like, why is he? Because I'm that kind of guy. You know,
what makes him so great?
It's like I see it, but when everybody's telling me, oh, this is like he's not moving heaven and earth,
right?
He's not. And when people I did the math when people talk about Josh Allen and how he had the greatest season of his career, I'm like, no, he didn't. 2020 was. He had the highest yards he's thrown in one season in 2020. He's had the highest completion percentage in 2020. He had 37 touchdowns. He had 8 rushing touchdowns. I mean, in 2020 was his coming of age, and he hasn't come close to that since. So, I mean, okay, I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying anything like that. But what I'm saying is, let's not do this. Let's not have revisionist history when we're talking about a guy in let's see. He's the same bad Jets run defense. Cook had 15 carries, 53 yards. Okay. But what about the rest of the games?
Right. Exactly. Like here's the point right here. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Like Big Papa's talking about Bill's O-line was number 5 out of 32 last season. Great. That's absolutely right. That is absolutely right. But what we're talking about is James Cook is 6th in the league at getting yards that the offensive line can't give him. Can't give him. When the offensive line's ability to get yards for Cook stops, James Cook is 6th in the league in getting more than that.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So we're talking about running backs who go above and beyond what is structured in the offensive call.
And I talked about this on Monday, on Friday. I mentioned this that and Ray Davis actually has negative. Hold on one second.
Oh my God.
Ray Davis actually has negative yards over expectation. And so that like I said, I'm not trying to where was it now?
My bad.
It's all good. I'm not there it is. So I'm not trying to give Ray Davis a negative report. But what I'm saying is let's keep it in perspective. Yeah, he had a good game. But guess what? I don't know if you remember this, but nobody knew if James Cook was playing or not. They didn't know until the game came whether he was going to play. That's called game planning. You gotta defend Ray Davis completely different than you do James Cook.
Right.
They run different plays for Ray Davis than they do for James Cook.
Yep, they run power for Ray Davis and they run zone for Cook.
Yep. And guess what? When you find out this information right before the game, you got to scramble to figure out what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And out of that, Ray Davis gives you 4.8 a carry. He gives you 53 yards in the air, 42 on one catch. Okay. He had a nice game. Everybody has a nice game.
Yep.
Well, he should. You know,
especially playing with Josh Allen.
And Ty Johnson had big games as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, it is whatever. And yes, man, you thought you were gonna get this past me? Yeah. You did not see that, and I will never say that.
Oh snap! So he asking for a rant.
Nope,
he asking for a big rant.
But you know what's funny about this, and I think I have to live by example. I really do. You can't say objectively, I hate this, I hate that, I hate this person, that person, all these other people, but you don't listen to them. You have to listen to what they have to say, and I will. You know, and a lot of times, you know, when he's by himself, he talks, and I don't agree with half the stuff he says, but I'll listen to it, and it makes me think a little like, let me think about that, and it'll reinforce what I already thought. Let me go research that. You know, it's another perspective which you need to want to get. My point is that you said Ray Davis only signed because no, I didn't say that. I didn't say only. I just said that's the game that he flourished in. I didn't say it had anything to do with them, but let's not act like they were a stalwart defense. Let's not act like they were a team that couldn't be run on. Let's not act like a team like they weren't a team that wasn't falling all over themselves that year. That's all I'm saying.
No, here it is right here. Yeah, it's called playmakers. That's why we bring out the yards above expected, because playmakers are good at getting extra past what the design of the play gets them.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the reason why the Bills covet yak yards so much, because it's like, well, we can just do something very simple and throw a screen pass and we'll get 5, 6, 7 yards off of that. About 5 of those, let's say they get 8 yards. 5 of those yards would be above expected, because the screenplay is not supposed to, like, it's inherently risky to throw a screen pass to begin with in terms of expecting a lot of yards after the catch. What you do is you hope that you call it at the right time and catch the defense off guard, and then you get a huge play off of it. Right? But the way that the Bills employed it, it was very effective at getting 4 to 5 yards. And they were fine doing that. If the Bills offense could literally live off of doing that, they would have last year.
Yeah. And I mean, this thing, Thomas, to your point, and he said, it's his blocking. Okay. So have you ever watched, I'll say, basketball? Have you ever watched another sport where your coaches know what you're not good at and they put you in a position to do something that you're good at? Because if you're telling me James Cook lined up with a linebacker on third down is not a win, I don't know what to tell you. If you're telling me that you can't play somebody that gives you everything else that you need at any given time because they can't do one thing or they don't do one thing, I don't know where I still don't understand where people see Ray Davis as a blocker, where they see Ty Johnson as a blocker. Yes, they put him out there on third down, but they're not good blockers. They're not.
None of them are.
None of them are.
Yeah.
Not name one of the three. So
let's bring up this point too, just to be clear. That I want to bring up your statistic about all of the best blocking running backs in the league being guys we've never heard of.
Yep.
Like, just kind of talk about that again really quick, because that to me reigns above everybody who says blocking is a big deal and James Cook's blocking is the issue.
Yeah, I mean, I'll pull it back up again. Just give me a moment. I can pull up blocking by running back.
All right, so I wanted to get to a couple of comments here. Where is it? Okay, so Renaissance says, love me some Ray Davis. It's a little early to know if he's an RB1 or not. Cook had 2 back-to-back 1K yard seasons, scored 20 tutties last year, and people still want more of a sample size from him. Yeah.
When I see a world where they both can coexist.
I agree too.
I do. Yeah. But people don't want to see it that way. It is what it is. Let's see. So if we're talking about pass blocking running backs, what I did was I took 20% of minimum block snaps, which is 374. So 20%. Number 1, Michael Burton. Heard of him?
Not me. Who does he play for?
Denver. He's a full. Okay, wait, no, he's a fullback. Okay, let's do Tajay Spears. He's the first running back.
I heard of him. Tennessee, right?
Tennessee. And that is with 85 blocks. So we're gonna go 85 or more. So 85 blocking snaps. He was number 1.
Tajay Spears, when you look at him, he's got a James Cook build.
Yep.
Like, he's not a big back.
Nope.
That's the craziest part about all this.
Let's see. Antonio Gibson.
Is he even on a team right now?
I don't think so. Tony Pollard. James Conner.
Okay, James Conner.
Yeah, he's like the best one.
Yeah,
by
he's
far the best
for
one.
sure the best one. Yeah.
Isaiah Pacheco, Jerome Ford. So, I mean,
these are all backups.
Wait. No, that's 20. No, hold on.
That was a different year.
That was 23.
Oh,
I was looking
wow.
at something else. Hold on a second.
Wow.
That was 23. So give me 1 second. I'm gonna bring it back up because that is 20% of 416. So let's do this. Reggie Gilliam's the number 1 blocker. Let's see. James Conner, Zach Charbonnet, Devin Singletary. Tommy, he's on the board. J.K. Dobbins, Rashad White, Javonte Williams, Chase Brown, Rico Dowell, and Derrick Henry is number 13.
Right. The biggest back of all is number 13.
Number 13.
The
Saquon
guy you
right
would
behind him.
Yep. Right. The guy you would expect to be the top guy is 13th. The only reason we're bringing this up is just to kind of show and prove, like, blocking for the top backs in the league is not as great as you think it is.
Right.
And that information should really make you take a step back from the focus on, well, James Cook is not a great pass blocker.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And that's why we can't pay him.
Yeah, Spin, what are you talking about? I took out the fullback. I'm not sure what that means, but I took the fullbacks out of the equation.
Yeah. Where's FH? You mentioned
you
couldn't
join.
So
what?
You can, but what you have to do is I had to look this up because I think somebody else had an issue like this too. You have to download Chrome. And I know that sucks for you iPhone users. But you have to download Chrome and go to the desktop version of or maybe Safari will let you do it, but you got to go to the desktop version of YouTube, and then you should be able to do it there. If not, you got to get to a laptop or some kind of desktop or something like that, and get to the desktop version of YouTube, and then you can subscribe. It's a lot. But
bring your phone here.
Yeah,
bring your phone in here.
Right. So Daquan says James Cook has never had a 100-yard game versus the Chiefs. I would pay him if he can do that. Thoughts? Well, he had 80 in the AFC Championship game.
How many touchdowns?
And 2, right? 2 touchdowns. 80 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. And 30 of those yards were above expected.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is the guy that you keep off the field on the last drive of the game.
But he can't block.
Because he can't block, right?
And we still got a defensive end home on Josh on the crucial game. So what does that mean?
You don't trust James Cook on that one, but you trust Greg Rousseau, who couldn't stay on his feet the whole game.
That was bad. Epic bad game. Yeah.
This is the biggest game. This is the biggest game of his life because he wasn't here in 2020. This is the biggest game of his life, and he couldn't stay on his feet.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, so look, they gave him the bag.
Give him the bag.
They gave him the bag. The weeks after that game, they still paid him. But here they are with James. I'm gonna tell you what it really is, because I think we've eliminated all of the ancillary thoughts about blocking and trust and all that kind of stuff. What it really comes down to for James Cook, and I hope that everybody is hearing what I'm saying and not just taking it as negativity. What it really comes down to with James Cook is the Buffalo Bills don't value the running back position the way some of these other teams do. And realistically, with the new wave of run game that's coming back into the league now, the Bills are either going to make a decision to get in line and pay James Cook and be a part of that wave, or they're going to get swallowed up by it. Damn it.
No. There you go. There you go.
I okay.
All right.
Continue your point.
Right. I'm working back up to it. So, So basically, this new era that we're in of running backs being valued, and it's not just in free agency; it's in the draft too. Because the kid that was just drafted by Vegas ended up getting the highest paid deal of a. Well, I'm sorry, he's got the second biggest contract amongst running backs right now. The second. So a guy that hadn't even played a down in the NFL gets a deal like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, people hearing me say this are going to say, well, Vegas is stupid for doing that. Okay. Have we seen Pete Carroll have success with another running back that used to work here?
I believe so.
I think so too. So it's not like Pete Carroll has no idea what he's doing. He's won 2 Super Bowls. So let's not, or I think it might just be 1. He's won a Super Bowl.
He went to 2.
He went to 2. He won 1. So let's take a step back from that thought process too, because Pete Carroll's the guy who's accomplished something that Sean McDermott is not. So these are things that I'm bringing to the table to kind of show, like, there's guys that have done more than, or accomplished more, I should say, than what we've accomplished, and they're making these types of moves. Nick Sirianni has been to 3 Super Bowls in the last 5, and I'm sorry, he's been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 years and won 1. The Eagles as a franchise have been to 3 Super Bowls and won 2 in the last 5. So it's not crazy to think maybe we should value the running back position a little bit higher than we do. Just maybe.
You know what's funny about James Cook though, when you're talking about third downs, the ones he played in, he was in 9 third downs last year. Average of 3.8 yards to go for first down. He averaged 8.6 yards pickup on third down. He got 1 touchdown, 6 first downs out of 9 plays. So he had 77 yards on 5 carries. I'm sorry. He had 36 yards on 5 carries, or 7.2 a carry, 3 first downs. He had 4 targets, 4 receptions for 41 yards, and a touchdown and 3 first downs. So that's what you kept off the field.
Mm-hmm.
A first down maker. Almost everything he did on third down was a first down.
Wow.
But nobody brings that up. They talk about blocking. Nobody brings that up. You know, nobody. They talk about a lot of stuff that is surface level. They talk about stuff that makes sense to a narrative. James Cook, see what it is James Cook's not going to be a Bill after 2025.
No, he's not.
So people got to make peace with it. I get it. I got to make peace with it as well. But you know, let's not act like he's missing or deficient or anybody's deficient or anything.
Right.
Just because they're not going to be here much longer.
Right.
Let's not do that. We got to come up with something else.
Yeah, realistically, it's their value of the running back position and the salary cap situation. They talked about this in the morning show this morning too. The fact that James Cook took his stance the way he did, the Bills and Bean specifically didn't have to take the stance of, well, James Cook isn't working with us, so let's go take the money we were going to give him and give it to another player. Like, you didn't have to take that stance. Mm-hmm. That to me is kind of a vindictive move in a sense, because if you really want the player like you say you do, and you love the player like you say you do, you don't put that off for another year. Mm-hmm. Like, realistically, Terrell Bernard was not going anywhere. You could have waited to resign that kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, Benford, I understand. Even Rousseau, like you pointed out last episode, how many defensive ends have we just not looked at because we've had it in our minds that Greg Rousseau was going to become Javon Curse? You know what I'm saying? Like, we just have this super high standard for you know, where we think Greg Rousseau is going. What if he never gets there?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the other side of this spectrum is, well, what if he does? If he does, great, the contract is justified, but there's more evidence that would suggest that he won't than there is that suggests that he will.
I'll tell you right now, the Bills don't believe in him getting to where people think he's going to get to.
Right.
He just signed, what, 19.5, 20 mil?
Yeah.
What did Myles Garrett just get?
40.
Who's younger?
Rousseau.
So he's got he's got more tread on the tires. He's younger.
And Garrett's been injured a few times the last couple of years.
Times. Won it out.
Yep. Went very public about it, by the way.
Wrote a letter to the people of Cleveland. I love you guys, but your history.
Yeah.
Oh, 40 million, you said? Come back. You know, but there's a reason why Rousseau got 20 million and why he signed for 20 million. He didn't bet on himself to get more. Rousseau we saw it. His market value was more than 20 million. Christian Benford's market value was more than 19 million, whatever he got.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason why they know their max. And I'm going to probably be one of the only guys here that sits here and says, you know what? I'm not mad at Rousseau because I saw that when we drafted him. What did I say? He don't give you no 10 sacks. I've said it every year. If he gives you 10 sacks, it's an anomaly. I've said it every year. And is that a problem? No. The onus is on the management, the coaches, and the GM to get somebody that will get you 10 sacks. We knew Rousseau wasn't going to do it, but what he does is he sets that edge. He will clean up some sacks. He will, get you tackles for losses, and that's something that he's going to play too. How many games has he missed? Not many. So why is that we're doing this? Why is it that we see a deficiency here, and we talk all this nonsense, and we magnify that one. But nobody magnifies this guy over here who just got $20 million a season who can't get 10 sacks.
Exactly. Really quick, I just wanted to point this part out here.
Go for it.
Fire Sign Chat says Knox gets 14.5 and the world didn't crash. Let's hold on to that thought for a second, right? I want to get to this one from Laura. She says, I Googled Bill's top running backs yards per year. The running backs over 1,000 fluctuate. I think 1,000 yards, if I'm not mistaken. Fluctuate. Can we correlate O-line problems with years running backs struggled? Because if they're interchangeable, I need evidence. I like Jimbo. It's more than just yards that correlate with the offensive line. I'm sorry, I should say it's more than the offensive line that correlates with the running backs' yards. It's offensive play calling. Is the team calling more pass plays? The defenses they go against, are they going against better run defenses? Are teams focusing in on stopping the running back? Like somebody mentioned in the, here goes, Daquan mentioned Saquon Barkley, the running back, had 57 yards in the Super Bowl to beat the Chiefs. We don't need a star running back. We just need defense. The reality of it is you got to a Super Bowl on Saquon Barkley's back.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that the pass game was as effective as it was because the Chiefs were so focused on stopping Saquon Barkley. The Eagles anticipated that and put into their play sheet that week those deep routes on the outside, those man beaters on the outside. You want to get so heavy on our running back? Fine, we'll make you pay over the top. And they did it twice.
Mm-hmm.
So that shows you the value of a good running back right there. The 50, this is why I say we got to stop trying to just zero in or put, specific statistics in a vacuum just to tear a guy down and say, he's not this, he's not that.
Yep.
When you and I present information on this show about a player, it's not just stats, it's evidence on the field, or it's reports from the players or reports from the media. It's a convergence of all the information available about a player. And in this particular case, the point about the value of a running back in the Super Bowl, when you put everything together, is actually much more than you would think. So, to Laura, to answer your question, no, I do think it's more than just offensive line. There's a lot of different variables that go into a running back success. So let's do this because we are at 7:13.
That is hilarious. I did. You know what? I'm glad you said we have time because I actually had something that was positive. I really was going to be positive today, y'all. And I don't think I completely ruined it. I don't think I lost it. Let me know in the comment. I probably did. Don't say that in there, huh?
You're never positive, bro.
Man, listen to you.
No. I'm only saying this because Ben likes to get on your skin. That's why I say you're never
positive.
Spin's
definitely trying me, but it ain't gonna happen today.
I know.
Tommy's trying me. It ain't gonna happen today. Tommy, I liked your idea though. I did like your idea what you're gonna do while you're working.
Oh, watching the old games.
But see, you gotta go a little further than that. You said you weren't gonna do it, but you gotta go back. You gotta go back for some of the old. You gotta go back to old people.
What,
man.
like the 70s?
I saw some Bobby Chandler.
Wow.
Some you ain't gotta go too far back with I know I can't win, but I can't.
That's right.
I'm just gonna keep trying though. One day I might get something. But that was an actual good idea. If I wasn't such a square and worry about copyrights and all this other stuff, I do say that I'm like, yo, I'm in there. So A1 thing, man. Do that. I like it. I'll be watching. Sinky, you can DM if you follow me on X, if you follow A on X, if you followed us on Facebook or anywhere else, you can put your email in any of those medium. If not, I can look my handle up and give it to you, or just find the Post Podium Pod on X.
I'll just put it in the chat right now.
Okay.
The official page for the podcast is at Post Podium Pod. There. Yep. Okay. So
the Post Podium Pod was red. The spreadsheet was red when you came back.
Yeah. Daquan, appreciate you. Senke, appreciate you. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. So, okay, I wanted to get to the Laura's comment here. She says, yeah, but if there's no measuring stick, how do you measure? I use measuring tape. I don't use measuring sticks.
There you go.
Sticks. I'm kidding. So in all seriousness, though, the measuring stick exists with all of the information, right? The statistics, with the reports, with the film, you know what I'm saying? All of that stuff goes into the measurement of a player. Now, here's where it gets kind of murky, because this is how the NFL actually does it in the draft, right? There's there's a measuring stick, so to speak, in the combine because everything is recorded. But teams don't make their final decisions based off of the numbers in the combine. They compare that with the film. They compare that with the reports about the background, the character, and all that kind of stuff. So again, another example of a convergence of information with which teams base their decisions off of. Now, all of that is the measuring stick, so to speak, right? Because after they do all this research on the player, that player goes on the board. Now, here's the kicker, and here's where it gets kind of wonky, right? After a team does all that research, they might put a certain player at number 5, but another team might put that player at number 7, right? So realistically, it is relative to the person doing the analysis, right? Or the team doing the analysis, because there are players that got picked in later rounds that people, that a lot of, draft pundits had going in the first round. You know what I'm saying? Maxwell Hairston was rated to be a second round pick, and he ended up going in the first round. So it really is relative, but I think there's a range is probably the best way to put it. There's a range that a player would fit into that more, and I hate saying it this way because it's kind of an oxymoron, but it's a range that more accurately describes a player's value versus just going based off of a statistic. You know what I'm saying? There are certain statistics about James Cook that would put him at in the bottom of the barrel. You know what I'm saying?
Blocking.
Right.
I'll say it first.
Right.
Blocking.
Right.
What else you got? No.
But there are other statistics that would put him at the top of the barrel, at the top of the food chain when it comes to, running back performance. So it really comes down to, and this is why I brought the point up. It really comes down to how you value the position.
Yes, man. I like that. Yeah. I like what you just said. I'll take that. I agree. Now.
Yeah. And it's not just us. It's not just you. This is how teams do it. This is exactly how teams do it. And this is the craziest part about all of this is something that we're trying to justify now is based off of information that a team that analyzes players and judges players in the same exact way that we has created this narrative based on just one or two statistics when they don't even judge players that way. But they've given us that information and we're taking it and running with it as if those two statistics, blocking and whatever else,
right,
is the one thing that defines the value of the player. It's not.
Right.
But again, this is why we like to do this show, because these are the oxymorons or the contradictions that we like to call out and just finally arrive at the truth, which is the team does not value the running back position, period. So Ray Davis is going to be Ray Davis, and when it's his time to go, somebody else is going to come in behind him.
Yeah. I looked at the draft the draft makeup this year. I am not overly impressed. If you're looking at guys that remind you of like Natron Means, Derrick Henry, people like that, or not Derrick Henry, of course you want that, but Derrick Holmes, I'll say, you might find that guy this year. But if you're looking for a dynamic, second gear, third gear guy who can catch and all that stuff, you're gonna have to go ahead and get yourself another smaller back. The guy from West Virginia comes to mind. You got obviously the guy from Notre Dame who you're gonna have to get in the first round. Are we talking about first round draft picks now? First round running backs, and that's what we're doing.
Right.
That's the tough part. So I think it's in a vacuum, and you said it right. And I think Spin said, this is where me and Spin not got into it, where we had our little standoff shows ago, when he said, who cares what he does for other teams is what the person does here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, exactly right, because it's a marriage. The offensive line married with James Cook is money. The Khalil Shakir and hopefully Keon Coleman married with Josh Allen is money. So why are we breaking this up? Now, somebody earlier asked, and I didn't want to jump into it, but somebody asked, where did that number even come from? I can tell you it wasn't Dalvin, because Dalvin said 20.
Right.
So I mean, I think 15 was one of those things that just came out. But see, the thing is, he said at one time it goes on a t-shirt. So now 15 million is what he said. He hasn't said the number more than twice that I know of.
Right.
But it's been said millions of times. 15 million. Even Tommy just said 2-3 years. I think he said 10 to 12 million. That's it.
That's fine.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You know, even if you're talking about a 3 or $45 million contract, 15 million with a guarantee of 24, 25 mil. Yes. And so when people come at me about talking about I can't do, you're saying what I said. I'm just not talking about blocking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when he came into Buffalo at 5'11", 185 pounds, did you really think he was going to block? Did you really think he was going to give you anything in there?
Right.
No, we didn't want him for that. That's why we had Devin Singletary. Singletary worked in that last offense, the day ball offense. He worked there, and that's why he went to New York to try to rekindle that flame. But what is it about block? Get yourself a fullback if you really care about it.
Right.
You got Gilliam, use him, right?
Yeah. Videsh says, didn't the Bills just draft a blocking tight end because the ones they have are not good enough?
Well, the one they force feed the blocking, yeah.
Exactly.
Kincaid.
Exactly. Roy says, your truth may not be someone else's truth. Think about that.
But it's all true, no sodium. What are you talking about?
Right. The idea is we apply the scientific method and arrive at the truth, not my truth.
No.
Like that's why we do the show. We tear things apart. We find the things that stick out and we pull the string until the truth is revealed. And let's be honest, it wasn't until this show that we arrived at the truth, which is the Bills don't value the running back position. Yep. We've had all kinds of debates about the value of James Cook and the numbers and going between him and Devin Singletary and the offensive line and the blocking and all this stuff, when at the end of the day, the whole issue was never James Cook to begin with.
Right.
It was never the public stuff. It was never any of that. It really comes down to valuing the running back position and them wanting to spend that money on that position. Real quick to Daquan's question, he says, bottom line, will you as the GM pay James Cook? And if so, who on the team are you willing to let go? If it was me, I wouldn't have paid Greg Rousseau. He needed to show me better in a contract year, especially with his performance in the AFC Championship game. That's a guy I could have easily let go, knowing all of the talent that was in the draft this year.
Yeah, you had another year with him anyway. So
right.
I mean, yeah, that's probably the one I would have said, let's hold off on,
yep.
You know, or I can't remember, Michael Hoyt, $7 million there, Joey Bosa, $12 million there. Those are guys that I wouldn't have to let go because they wouldn't be here if I was the GM. And if who was that? Was that
where?
Who said it? Who asked?
Oh, Daquan.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. If your higher stance is that Bosa and Hoyt and Ogunjobi should be here, then I can't argue with you. But when you're looking at those three guys alone, see, Ogunjobi's $8 million, $9 million. Hoyt is makes it 15, and now you got Bosa who makes it 27 million against the cap.
Mm-hmm.
Those three guys, were they must-haves? Or would you rather have James Cook than those three guys? Or would you rather have those three guys than James Cook? Knowing that two of them are suspended. Knowing that two of them are one-year contracts.
Right.
Knowing that two of them are over the hill. Michael Hoyt, our defensive coordinator, doesn't even know how to use them yet. So, I mean, okay. You know, then you got Josh Palmer, who's fine. You know, but when you're looking at some of the guys, some of the money that they doled out, some of the guys that they acquired, you're like, did you have to? You know, especially did you have to? You got Landon Jackson coming in now. I mean, Bosa, I'm sure he would have been there because he didn't get the money he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
He would have been there till after the draft. Because what's happening right now is you got Von Miller sitting there. Why is he sitting there? Somebody asked earlier. Because he doesn't want to go to training camp.
Exactly.
Because he doesn't want to do mini camps. I'm 36 years old. I don't need it. I'm a Hall of Famer. I'll be there when I'm there. Aaron Rodgers, what did he just do? All that song and dance because he didn't feel like going to these camps. He waited it out. Said, you know what? All right, fine. Outcomes like learn your stupid play, but I'm gonna do what I want anyway. But see, that's the difference between James Cook and those guys. And if I wanted to get rid of somebody, it would be one of those three. Or yeah, any one of those three, you could make it work. Easy.
Roy says the scientific method is what made me an atheist. So I guess your point is valid.
Oh, yeah, science.
You know what's funny about this? Just a quick side note. I would, matter of fact, I'm gonna ask you, Roy. Are you certain you're an atheist and not agnostic? Because those are two completely different things. The word atheist comes from the phrasing anti-theology, right? So well, I guess that's the idea behind atheism is anti-theology or devil worship in a sense. So agnostic is when you just don't acknowledge any higher power at all. Those are two completely different things. I would imagine you're probably more agnostic than devil worship.
Unless you're sitting there with a pentagram on your forehead.
Yeah, right. I can't imagine Roy with that.
Yeah.
So, but just a quick side note. Nate Dogg, what's going on? Says, I wonder if the we should have drafted Worthy crowd overlaps with the Pay Cook crowd for the same reason. Keep him out of KC. If not, why not?
That's crazy. Like, I mean,
It is though.
I joked about it. What if James Cook goes to Kansas City? But I don't think me wanting to keep James Cook in Buffalo is to keep him from Kansas City. It's to keep him on the field for us. To know that you're going to get a running back that's going to make something out of nothing. You're going to get at least 4.5 yards of carry. For me, that's what I want in James Cook. I don't care if he leaves Buffalo. I don't care where he goes. But the thing is, I don't need him here. It's not a hold him tight because I don't want him poached. It's not, and right. Xavier Worthy. I didn't want Xavier Worthy because of Kansas City. I wanted Xavier Worthy because we were slow. And you tell me you got a guy that's got 4.21. Who doesn't want the fastest guy on the planet, if you will? I mean, obviously there's faster people, but not me. I know that can catch a football. So it's like. No, I hope I'm answering your question. I get where you're coming from because there are people that just say, just don't let him go there. But I thought Worthy was a better fit for what we needed when we were talking about separation than Keon Coleman, who everybody knew didn't separate.
Exactly.
And I wanted at the time I wanted to see Diggs and Xavier because what I thought was Xavier Worthy's speed was going to open up for an aging Diggs to get some attention off of him rather.
Yeah. So somebody help Roy. I don't think he heard all of what I said. Atheism. So the having no. It's agnostic. Yeah. That's exactly what I thought. Spin. He says I think Roy is more. Oh, he says he thinks he's more atheist than agnostic. No, I think he's agnostic. Atheism. Go look it up. I'm telling you, atheism is more closely related to devil worship than anything. But I want to holler at my man Joe. What's going on, Joe? I was thinking about you the other day. I was wondering what you've been up to. I didn't get a chance to go and see how see how you were doing on YouTube. But
who's Joe? I want to know Joe.
So Joe Sanders is the guy that shouted us out as part of the inspiration for him starting his own channel. Like he got his own Bills Talk joint. You know what I'm saying?
What's the name of it?
I don't remember.
I will follow.
Yeah.
Put it in the comments.
Yeah, put it in the comments and we'll follow you.
Yes.
If we're not already, I thought I was.
I don't think I do.
Oh, you might not.
Yeah, I don't think I do.
You might not.
I will though.
But anyway, Joe says, point is, we have a QB who will cover up all the crappy decision-making the Bills have made, who we give who we give high contracts to are average players, but we think we get a steal because they don't rock the boat. So I was thinking about that when I thought about Terrell Bernard specifically, right? Because this is a guy who's been injured a lot. And so his value, especially for being as undersized as he is, I know there's a lot of linebackers in the league now that are, that size roughly, but pretty much all of the other guys in the league that are that size played linebacker at that size in college. So their body was used to playing at that level or at a high level at that size. For Terrell Bernard, he had to put on weight.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason he didn't come into the league being this good right away. It took him some time to get to that weight and then start playing well at that weight. And with his knowledge of the defense, he's done a great job. I'm not saying I wouldn't have given him a second contract. I probably would have, considering the Bills are going to do their best to stay in this nickel defense. But for where the Bills are with just overall talent, I think you said this before. There's not a lot of guys on this defense or this offense that would immediately go to another team and be their starter, or have the number one position at that position on another team. You know what I'm saying? Now, again, that's it's not a slam on the players, but what it is more of a compliment, I guess. If you want to look at it like this, I'll give you some positivity here. It's more of a compliment to the ideology of some of the parts. You know what I mean? We have a team of guys that play so well together that at times they can play just as well, if not better, than the best teams in the league. Cool. But I think the issue we keep running into is we see this sum of parts mentality and we see this ideology play out in the regular season as being great. and we look at the record and we say it's a success, even though the regular season record is not the barometer of success. It never has been. The regular season record gives you a chance, or a better chance in some cases if you have the number 1 seed, of having the best chance in the playoffs to get to and achieve the goal, which is winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right. So the idea of judging success by regular season records, or saying that, we win a lot of games, that's not the end all be all.
Right.
So I'm gonna challenge that mentality every time I get a chance to do it, because that's how people judge the players. They judge the players by the winning games and the record and the second overall points in the regular season, and if you include the playoffs, you're number 1 overall in points. That's what they're judging it based off of, and they're gonna say, well, we have good players because we have that. Again, convergence of information.
Mm-hmm.
Stop making it about one particular thing and saying we have great players.
Right.
You gotta look at all aspects of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say Billy D. McD needs that flex 3-3-5 defense. I no, only because I said that. Only because I say, who's your nose? They have a hard time identifying D linemen. So to get guys at multiple, give them a chance to say, yeah, he condenses. He can play multiple positions. He can play the 3. He can play the 1. He can play the 5. No. I mean, I understand what you're saying. I get it. And if I trusted them to be able to get guys that truly can do everything that is entailed with those front 4/3, I'd be all for it. I don't know if I have an answer for Roy. You probably better. He said, let's say Cook plays this year and his free agency next year. What team do you think is most interested in signing him?
Most interested in signing Cook. Cowboys for sure. I think Cowboys will probably be number 1 on this list. Just because of them chasing it, or them choosing to roll with Tony Pollard over who's the kid they had? I forgot his name. Anyway,
yeah.
I put Cowboys at the top of that list. After that, don't be surprised if you see who else needs a running back.
Did you see? Speaking of how everybody puts A-Chain above James Cook and all this stuff,
yeah,
you see how bad? Did you see how bad their numbers were for the running backs?
No,
they're hot garbage. Hot garbage.
If they're not getting 20 yards, they're only getting 1.
Right, it's horrible. So I'm like, okay, all right. I didn't realize it was that bad, but I looked it up when I was listening to GR this morning. They mentioned it. He said, yeah, their running backs are terrible. I said, oh, okay.
Yeah. No, Laura, you got that right. We only had 1 AO so far.
Yeah, we did. We had 1 AO and a pause.
Yeah, we're getting better at playing this game.
Yes, we are.
So, all right. Look,
go to your
yeah.
Laura, sooner or later they will be in a hot seat. Don't worry. Sooner or later
this might be it. This might be
shall pass.
Yeah, So let's do something a little fun real quick.
I want to do something fun.
I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to ask everybody watching us a question, all 1,349 of you. Thank you so much.
Are you asking me and Key?
Yeah. Everybody that's hearing and watching this, I want you guys to put in the chat, as soon as I ask this question, I want to hear your answers. I think this will be interesting.
Okay.
What is one amenity, big or small, that if they put this in the stadium, you would immediately buy a PSL and a season ticket?
I'm glad you said that.
Okay, I'm lost.
Because the answer is right. The answer is right in your question.
What's that?
More leg room. Wait,
leg room
more
is
leg room.
Needed. Leg room is definitely needed.
But they already have those. They have those like lounge areas now.
Yeah, I don't want that. I just want to be able to sit without my
knees.
A
regular seat.
There's somebody in the back of their head. Yes.
No. Heated seats.
Heated seats?
Heated seats.
I think they got we had that in the old stadium.
No.
The club seats. The club seats are heated.
I'm talking about like outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is I got one answer, and this is gonna rub people the wrong way, but this is an answer I really have.
I don't like how you just said that.
No, this is gonna rub people the wrong way. I know it will, but I would like, and this is bad. I can't believe I'm saying this. So don't cancel me, because some of the answers in here are giving it away. A separate entrance and exit for sober fans.
Ooh, I like that a lot.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
It's just a matter of just the experience and what you want to hear, what you want your kids to hear, stuff like that. I want people to enjoy themselves, but some people enjoy themselves too much.
I mean, that's crazy. That is crazy. We got two people that's talking about strippers, free adult entertainment, stripper pole. Vanessa says heated seats. Laura says a fun photo booth. You know what? I don't know why they wouldn't put that in there now.
I would love that.
You would? Yeah.
I would love that. Me and Laura gonna be in the booth like ching.
Missing the whole game.
Kev. Thank you. Yo, if they did, that's it for me. That I'm with that 100%. If they had the stadium in the city, bro, I gotta be there.
If they put it in the city, you probably wouldn't need PSLs.
Right, exactly. That's a great point. That's a great point. Joe says, he's talking that Mafia. What did he say? He says people over at Hard Knocks loving this Cook drama. Yeah, I'm sure they are.
I believe it.
DeMarco Murray, yeah, but they went hard at keeping or getting Tony Pollard rather after they let the guy they drafted go. Didn't he just almost refuse to sign or something like that? What happened with him? Because I know he went to the Eagles and Tony Pollard? No, Murray. DeMarco Murray. Yeah, he ended up going to the Eagles. Yeah, was that did they sour both sides or how did that work? I can't remember how that played out. I know he was injured. And then he wanted a raise or whatever the case may be, a new contract, and yeah, it soured both sides. Trade Cook for Micah Parsons. Okay. Oh, sure. Yeah. But guess what? Micah Parsons gonna want even more money. And that's Buffalo's problem, not mine. I'm a defensive guy. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Sign me up. Yeah. You made me excited about that. We got a guy that can play linebacker, pass rusher, and safety. Man, Brandon. And they make him drop in coverage. So, what are you doing? No. They're going to use him wrong. Of course they would. Yeah, we believe Micah Parsons is an inside linebacker. I'm like, he can play all three. Like, why are they doing this to me? Safety? Why is he lined up in the slot? Right. Yeah. Why is he playing nickel corner? What is going on right now? This is elaborate. This is cutting edge. This is diabolical. Wait, where was I? Okay. Free food and drinks for the first quarter. Man, make that the first half. A Swiss Army knife. Make that the first half. What? Swiss Army knife. A Swiss Army knife. Yeah. That's what they're gonna say when they get him. Well, we just believe that Micah Parsons is so gifted and can do multiple things for this defense. All right, we're gonna shut that down immediately. Yeah. Daquan says, should we sign Jair Alexander? That ain't gonna happen. No, he's not a cultural fit. He's not at all. Definitely not a cultural fit. Not at all. Great player and could definitely play in our system and would be just as good as he was in Green Bay here in our system for sure. But Sean McDermott would hate it. wait. He spins on a roll. He said we can't give Parsons because this. This is spin people. All 10 games of them. It wasn't me, right? All 10 or 11 games. All 11 games of them. Oh man! All right, so here's another question. Yes, sir. Here's another question. What is the best moment you've been at the stadium for? The best moment I've been at the stadium for? Yep. Get any chance to see CJ Spiller? If somebody is thinking wide right, don't type it. We don't want to hear that. The best moment. Honestly, you go first. It's been a lot of them, but I think the best one for me, just because I was caught in the emotion, was going with Mac to see the Bills when they clinched the playoffs. What was it? That wasn't this past year. I think it was 2 years ago. Oh, okay. When they were already good. The Dolphins game, I think it was. Yeah, they were good, and they clinched, and it was on the board and the snowballs, and it was pandemonium. And I actually got to be there to see it, so I think that was probably the best moment I ever saw. Okay. June. Probably like 2. I think I've really been a big fan of CJ Spiller when he was on the Bills. Okay. So when my grandmother took me to go see him, and then being in the glass thing up top. Mm-hmm. The club. Yeah, mm-hmm. Yeah. That's the first time I've been there when they faced the Saints. Okay. So that was probably like my biggest moment right there. Okay. So Bills versus Houston '93. Are you talking about
the blacked out game, is that the one you're talking about, the comeback?
So I'm kind of ashamed of my moment.
What's your moment?
My moment was the EJ Manuel comeback on the Panthers.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
I had some really good seats for that game. I think I was there with my uncle too. But it was exciting
No, it was a
watching
good
the
moment.
comeback happen. And this was like, very early on in EJ Manuel's career. So he was kind of like the hope and the hype at the time. So seeing him pull that off was like, okay, we might have a dude, we might have a quarterback finally, and then everything else happened.
No, I remember that because that he gave his dad the game ball after that. He ran up to his dad and gave him the ball. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
That's a good moment. I wasn't not obviously, but I wasn't there for that, so it doesn't apply. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of moments that I've seen. I remember, like I said, just a bonus is I remember, when we beat the Patriots with Fitzpatrick. I wasn't there. I was working, and the scream he let out
that day, man.
Well, I think I got to about the third quarter and I had to go to work. But the scream he let out, because I had it in my ear, but he called me. T's watching this, and she doesn't watch football.
I remember you telling me what happened.
In a bit, she calls me while I'm working. I'm unloading bags from a plane, and she goes like, "What's wrong?"
Yeah.
I think we were to win. I'm like, "Who's we? What are you talking about? Let me hang up. Look at it on my phone real quick." And I put on the GR app and I listen. I was like, "There it is." But yeah, I think that's that. Roy, really, I thought it was the Scott Chandler snow shoveling celebration. I think was I there for that? I was there when he did that one time. Yeah, I was at one of those games. So yeah,
week 3, 2011. Man, I don't remember that one.
That's the game I'm talking about.
Oh, that's the same one. Oh, okay,
yeah.
Yeah. No, listen. Vivid memories of me racing home because you was on your way to work. I was on my way home, so I couldn't watch it.
Right.
And so I was listening to it on the radio. And as I pull up to the house, I'm parking the car. And they just got to position to they just ran the last play right before they kicked the field goal. Now I'm like pissed because I'm pulling up. I'm like, do I get out of the car and run to the house? Do I get it? So I'm like, I called my wife like while I'm in the car. I said, hey, can you open the door real quick? I'm about to run in. And she's like, yeah, hurry up. They're about to kick right now. Yo, as soon as I ran in, as soon as I turned the corner and looked at the TV, that's when the ball just starts going up and right through oh man, that was so great. That was so great. Like I almost shed a tear, bro. Like I was so happy that game. And then I had to hear on ESPN how it took 5 interceptions in order to make that happen.
I don't really care.
Right.
Make it 6. I don't care.
Man. They were talking more about the Patriots' failures than the Bills' successes. I'm like what do we got to do?
But we were there.
Exactly.
We were there. We did that.
Right.
So yeah, no, that was probably it. I remember I always talk about, the Thurman Thomas game. I think it was 95 against the Houston Oilers. And that was my first ever game in the stadium with my uncle. And all I wanted to do was see Russell Copeland. Why? I don't know. I mean, I was 10 years old. I had to see Russell Copeland, but
wow.
Yeah.
No story behind that. You just had to see him.
I don't know what it was about Russell Copeland. I have no idea why I just do so much. I hope he's watching this show, because if you're send me some autograph, Russell Copeland, please.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be something? Somebody knew the dude and it's like, hey, 40 Keys really was a fan of yours.
He was a fan of yours when he was like 10, 11 years old. Yeah.
Right.
Number 85, Russell Copeland.
Alton, thank you very much for so this is for DeMarco Murray. He went to the Eagles and then got traded to the Titans. That's right.
Yep, I remember. I just don't know why he left Dallas. But yeah, after he left Dallas, it all kind of fell apart. He was still good when he played, because he was good in Philly, but I think he burned his bridges in more than one stop. Bills and Niners. Oh, go ahead.
Wait, Sal. How did you feel knowing you left that game? Like, did you leave the game like knowing you got it, like we got this in the bag, or did you leave the game like just kind of being frustrated and then all of a sudden the comeback happens and you're kicking yourself for leaving?
That's what it was. You can't get back in. They said people were trying to get back in.
Yeah.
Begging to get back in.
That sucks, man. That sucks. Billy D says Bills v 49ers San Francisco, and 49ers in San Francisco in 91 was a great game for me.
That's what Candlestick is that Candlestick
Park?
Park?
It was Candlestick Park.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a great one. That was Marino. Or not Marino, Montana.
Yep. yeah, Big Papa. That 1 game out of 3, right? Exactly right.
Isn't he the most winningest quarterback in our stadium?
Tom Brady?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it's going down then.
right.
You ain't winning this stadium.
Exactly.
You never will win in it. Well, I shouldn't say that. 50 years old, he's like, you know what? I think I ain't got to sell no more. The kids are grown, nothing else to do. Let me spin it a couple times.
Yep. All right. Let's get to this topic real quick, and then we should be able to unless you got something else, we should be able to close out from there.
I actually did, but it's fine.
Oh, okay. No. we got time. So there was an article from SI.com, and they were ranking the trios of the NFL, and trios on offense is quarterback, running back, wide receiver. Okay. For those of you who haven't seen this list, the Bills were 9th overall on this list of trios. Now, I would think just with Josh Allen being involved, period, we're higher than 9. But I'm going to read you the teams that were ahead of the Bills. Triplets is what they're calling it. So Kansas City's at number 8. Pat Mahomes, Isaiah Pacheco, and Rashee Rice, even though he didn't even play last year.
Hey, no Kelsey. Whatever.
Right, no Kelsey. San Fran, Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, George Kittle at number 7. The Texans with CJ Stroud, Joe Mixon, Nico Collins comes in at number 6. Number 5, Detroit Lions, Jared Goff, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
That's one.
Huh?
I said that's one. Okay.
Yeah, that's understandable. Cincinnati also. I don't know. This is kind of iffy. So Cincinnati goes Joe Burrow, Chase Brown, and Jamar Chase.
We still got one. Okay.
Right. LA Rams, Matt Stafford, Kyron Williams, Puka Nacua. I mean, that to me, like Kyron Williams, I think is slightly better than Cook, and Nacua, I would say is better than any receiver we have. But Matt Stafford is no Josh Allen. I mean, probably the closest thing to to Josh Allen in his heyday, but not now. Eagles, okay. Saquon Barkley, you can say. AJ Brown, you can say, but not Jalen Hurts being better than Josh Allen. If I had to, I'm sorry, so the Eagles are number 2. Number 1 is the Ravens. Dorothy's gonna love this.
That's why I love it too.
Yeah, right. Number 1, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Zay Flowers. Look, I'm sorry. The only team that I would really give enough credit like that to say that they're, near the Bills would be the Eagles and the Rams. Those other teams, I don't think the other players are good enough. Chase Brown is nowhere near James Cook right now. He's just not.
Dorothy, Ravens, a joke.
Yeah, right, exactly. Detroit Lions, Jared Goff can't even hold a candle to Josh Allen. He got so much help from the offense, the offensive line, and the offensive coordinator. We saw what he was when he first got there, which wasn't that great until they started getting all these weapons and pieces around him, which made his job super easy. Okay. To me, he's more of a product of the offense than anything else. Houston, CJ Stroud is just a no for me. I like the kid. I think he can play. I think he's good. But Joe Mixon and Nico Collins, yeah, I would agree with them. CJ Stroud, no. Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, and George Kittle, I wouldn't put either of them ahead of any of the guys that we have. I wouldn't take any of those guys ahead of who we have right now. George Kittle, no, I wouldn't. Not ahead of Khalil Shakir. I wouldn't take Christian McCaffrey and his broke down behind ahead of James Cook. Surely would not. Brock Purdy, ain't no way. So yeah, to me, this list, and this is where I got the title from and the thumbnail and all that, like this to me feels like a little bit of disrespect, mostly because the team they put right ahead of the Bills is Kansas City. Like, I get you can't beat these guys in the playoffs, but regular season, we dominate these boys.
I mean, what's more egregious to me is the fact it wasn't Travis Kelce. That's egregious. If it was Travis Kelce,
didn't even play. Yeah. I mean, look.
Laura said Discord alerts on 10 now. Hey, thanks.
He said Ravens.
And you know what's bad about it? The Ravens, when I'm not mad at, maybe not number one, but I'm not mad at it being up there.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah, so I think I forget who it was now. I'm old now.
Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Zay Flowers.
Well, who did I say was the one? Was it Detroit? It might have been Detroit.
I think you said Detroit. Yeah.
Okay, so Detroit, the Ravens, the Bills, and I guess I'll throw in the Eagles as a collective. Those are probably my four, and the rest of them go to hell.
The Rams too?
Go to hell. Yeah.
Hey, key to Hodge, bro.
Yeah. You feel strongly about
this. I feel right. I feel right.
Bill
says the best players on the Chiefs are the refs. I mean, yeah, those lines do look kind of red to me. They
used to be like red or orange back in the early days. I saw that. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah,
they actually were white and red.
No yellow.
No, I think they were they yellow or white? I know they were red.
Oh yeah,
the refs.
Oh, word for real?
Yeah, they weren't black. They were it was white and red. If you watch old games, yeah, they're like red or orange.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's trippy. Just go watch one. Matter of fact, Tommy, do one because I want people to see like the difference in the way they commentate it. Yeah. I want them to see the difference in the way they signal the penalties, signal the first downs, signal incomplete. I want people to see what football used to look like. People that don't know. You know, obviously I'm only 40, so I'm not like tongue in cheek against somebody that actually was alive to watch them. Mm-hmm. But I've found some gems on YouTube, and I'm like, wow, this is different. This is much different.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, let us know what you think about this list. I mean, these teams. I will say this. There are some teams ahead of the Bills that have 2 out of the 3 players are like, yeah, okay, I agree with that. Josh Allen to me is better than any quarterback on this list. Period. So let's take that out of the conversation. We're now looking at your running back and whatever receiver you want to choose.
I'm glad you said this because I thought about this. I was going to mention it before when we did stuff, and I didn't know how much stuff we really actually had. Mm-hmm. But who was it? Sporting News. They did an article on PFF's ranking. Khalil Shakir is one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league according to their metrics.
Wow.
He's voted one of the most underrated players. And somebody a long time ago asked, is he going to get 1,000 yards? No, because that's just not how it's designed. Can he get 1,000 yards? I think if he went somewhere else, he would be Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
He'd be the guy like, why did he do that here? Because he didn't have a chance.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I was going to say somebody else. I heard somebody say, would you be happy with Keon Coleman getting 775 yards of receiving yardage this year?
No.
I was going to say yes, only if he was number 2. So
okay,
yeah. So we say you get 1,000-yard receiver.
So
ahead
Shakir's the only receiver ahead of him with more yards.
Would have to be ahead of him. He would have. I can't have somebody lead the team with 775 yards.
Well, right.
That I can't have.
That's why I said no.
Right.
I'm like, I fully expect Coleman to have a much better year than that if given the opportunity. Yeah. But yeah,
if you given the opportunity, I think that would be great. Yeah. Let's see. Papa Bill said 1 Eagles, 2 Bills. Josh Allen with no help. Hurts with all the help. Spin. Be quiet. I'm pumped. See what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? Spin. What are we doing here?
He's doing it on purpose, bro.
You knock down one of our players. You call us negative. And then you tell me that they're hot garbage because they have Josh Allen number 4.
You gotta stop being so daggone
negative. All the time, just being negative.
No.
Why can't you make this voice?
No.
What is wrong with the voice? I didn't say nothing. I was saying,
I don't care.
Full blown freak out. No, I mean that. No, because they gave one of our guys premier credit, and you're gonna discount them because Josh Allen's number 4. Boo hoo. This is about Khalil Shakir right now. This is not about Josh Allen. This is about Khalil Shakir. We're going to keep it there. We're not going to talk about anybody else but Khalil Shakir. Walter said Shakir had 100 targets and an offense that allowed him to be the top guy. Where is he going? He's going to get more opportunities. Somewhere that actually throws the ball somewhere besides behind the line of scrimmage.
Listen, if you think that Khalil Shakir cannot go to LA and play with the Rams and Matt Stafford and put up Cooper Kupp numbers in that offense, you are out of your mind.
I mean,
You are out of your mind.
Are we really discounting Khalil Shakir in the fact that more than half of his yards came behind the line of scrimmage on yak yardage?
Exactly.
How about if we let him run regular routes?
And he led the team.
He led the team, and I think he was like number 2 in the nation, in the league in
yards after catch.
Yeah. So I mean, what are we doing? Throw him a bone.
Right. All right. So I got one more question here, which is, should Cook want to prove everyone wrong this year statistically and forego his holdout and play just to justify his ability by putting up similar stats to last year? Or should he continue to do what he's doing and hold out? If you were Cook, which option would suit you?
That's tough, because I think if he did the same thing he did last year, people still they wouldn't warrant any more money for him. I think he would back himself to a corner if he went out and got 207 carries for 1,009 yards and 16 touchdowns. They were like, well, why do you get 16 touchdowns? I was just blocking. He still sucks there. They're like,
it's not any better than it was last year.
It was before. And so I think it's a catch-22, because holding out, I don't think it hurts him as much as a lot of other people think it does.
I agree.
I mean, people got to remember, we don't see holdouts in Buffalo because everybody loves Buffalo, wants to play with Josh, blah, blah, blah. But as a player, I don't have a Josh Snuggie. I don't have a Josh little pillow, bopping pillow.
Right.
I'm me. I'm investing in me. And he's just as lucky to play with me as I am to play with him. So, it's tough. It's just tough.
I'm sorry, bro. I have to. I'm sorry.
All right.
You said play with me.
I know.
Yeah,
but the point is not lost. I think that
fact you just move on, that was crazy.
He was trying to gloss over that.
No, I was trying to make a point, but the point is just, I think that if you're looking at a guy who's holding out, he's holding out for a reason. The reason being, I think I know my worth. I think I got this. I think I'm better than what they're telling me I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, on one side you want to go out there and prove to them that, you know what, I'm not. I had the situation where I couldn't play anymore. I couldn't play for somebody, but the person that told me that I was washed up and I was a has-been, I went back to prove a point, knowing I couldn't play because I wasn't eligible.
Mm-hmm.
But when I ran circles with his team and around his team and all this stuff, they were like, so what will it take? What will it take for you to can't? Sorry. But what if I didn't? They told me I didn't have to practice. I just had to play. I just couldn't start.
Wow.
That's what they told me. And I'm like, I would love to do just to rub egg in your face, but I can't. I'm not. If I play, you're gonna lose all your games by forfeit because I'm not eligible.
Wow.
So yeah. And little no, I wasn't. It wasn't academic. I actually graduated early. So if I would have played past when I graduated, it was gonna be all forfeit. So it wasn't gonna work. But yeah. I mean, I think to answer your question, if I was James Cook.
Tough one, right?
That's tough
because the public perception is going to tell you, I need to go out and prove this,
right?
You know what I'm saying? I need to get out there and put up some stats to shut them all up,
right?
But your concern for your own future and your own well-being and the money you're going to make is like, well, there's a lot of reasons I should just sit out.
Yeah, and Spence said if Cook sits out, he loses an accrued season. Not sure what that does for next year, but it affects him somehow. I think that makes him a restricted free agent, not an unrestricted free agent.
Yep.
So yeah, so then they can.
I'm sorry, somebody asked that earlier. I meant to get back to that. Okay. Thank you for answering that.
No problem. Yeah, no, they can tender an offer, and then they would get compensation out of it if they didn't want to tender a match. But it gets messier and messier and messier. So he probably will want to go somewhere and choose where he goes if it's not Buffalo, which right now who knows what he's thinking.
Yeah. No, Bill, you can retire with $5 million. James Cook cannot retire with $5 million. I'm joking.
No, I don't.
And Laura, why another team got to be desperate to pay Cook? Why they can't just pay him because they like him? Why they can't pay him because they think he's an upgrade? Why they got to be desperate?
Yeah,
just saying.
Yeah.
Spin says if Cook sits out, he loses. Oh, okay, you read that one already. All right.
And
go ahead.
I was going to say, well, are you done with that? Because I was going to ask my question.
I'm good. Go ahead.
My question. Remember when I said this was a positive show?
Oh boy, should I bring up the siren?
No, this is a positive thing.
Oh,
this is gonna drive you nuts.
Oh boy,
I think.
All right,
but it really was a discussion starter, and I thought about it. what would it take for Sean McDermott to be the coach of the year?
Oh my God.
What would it take for him to win?
Wait, Key, can I say it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think he needs some of that that Reese tea.
He might need some Reese tea. But first, before you get that Reese tea out, what do you, in your mind, what would it take? What would he have to do?
Coach of the year. Coach of the year. Coach of the year. What makes that difficult is you have the best quarterback in the league on your team. What?
That's one. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, Andy Reid hasn't won coach of the year yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
Because everybody looks at, well, you got Patrick Mahomes. So I would have to say he would have to go undefeated. He would
go somewhere else.
Kev, I'm trying to answer the question, not find a way to not answer the question. But I love that answer, by the way. Let me say that. I think it would have, and before people start throwing darts, because I'm being, because I'm setting the bar super high or at this,
I think it's
unachievable
fair.
level.
I think it's fair.
I say that from the standpoint of they have the 6th easiest schedule in the league this season. They play a lot of bad quarterbacks. The defenses that they play are not the best, and I'm including the defenses in our own division. So there are a lot of factors that lead to you should probably win at least 13, 14 games this season easily, right? Mm-hmm. So I think if you damn right, he breaking my brain. I think if Sean went undefeated and it was dominant performance after dominant performance, like the team looked like an undefeated team, not Chiefs last year where they just beating teams by 3 and barely making it and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. If they're beating teams by 10, 12, 15 points, you know what I'm saying? Nothing astronomical, but something definitive, like we are better than you and you have no chance, like that type of deal. Then I think Sean would have proven, because I think it's going to take super dominant performances from the defense in order to accomplish that.
Right. Yeah, I just saw a comment that I just don't know.
What?
Okay. Walter said, I disagree with, I think the scheme, we scheme him as such because that's how he's most effective. Shakir is the biggest beneficiary of Brady because he wasn't even a guy before him.
What you talking about, Willis?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I generally like Walter's points. So let me read this again. I disagree. I think we scheme him as much as so saying Shakir was just a guy before him or wasn't even a guy. All right, what are you basing that off of? Are you basing that off of his draft status, or are you basing that off of seeing him in training camp versus what we started to see later on and when he was getting opportunities on the field? Like I would need to know what you're basing that off of first before I start disagreeing with the point.
We're talking about a Ken Dorsey offense that saw Shakir play 29% of snaps.
Right.
That saw, as soon as he got on the field, where was the ramp-up process? As soon as he got on the field, he was immediately that guy after Steph Diggs. So I don't understand where the Boise State, where that production went when he came to Buffalo, because he was a down the field threat. He was a go up and get it guy. He was a high point, snatcher from the defender's hands guy, amazing catch guy. He was a fast enough guy. Mm-hmm. So I don't know where he wasn't even a guy before. They called him one of the biggest steals in the draft when he came out. They said he was a 3rd round talent. He got drafted in the 5th round. So I don't know why with Ken Dorsey's horrible offense that we watched until he got fired, that we can deduce that he wasn't even a guy when in fact he never had a shot to show you he was a guy when you heard what he was doing in practice. You heard what he was doing on the training field.
Okay, so he's basing it off of playing time.
Yeah, well, yeah. But that's the thing. That's Dorsey. And I'm sorry, Walter. I didn't mean to jump on you, but I just read. I was like, oh. So I'm sorry.
No, but you know what though? I would have addressed that too. because Shakir was the one guy when they gave him, the bag this year. I'm like, he deserves that more than anybody else who got the bag this season. Shakir deserves that because not only does he get Shakir is a guy that for as many opportunities as he already gets, he actually deserves more because he's what he's done. I mean, just the Steelers playoff game alone. Actually, let's do it. Can you pull up the stats from the Steelers game really quick? Because he really didn't have a lot of opportunities in that game. But
Steelers, which one are you talking
about? The divisional playoff game. Might have been I think it was wild card. It was wild card. So this would have been what, 2 years ago?
Last year. This was 2023.
Yeah.
Okay. So Shakir. All right, receiving Khalil Shakir, 3 for 31 and a touchdown. Forget you. I don't see nobody else trying to get it.
He's like,
work faster. So you said 3 for 31?
3 for 31 and a touchdown.
Three catches. How many targets did he have?
3.
So 100% catch rate.
Yep.
and a touchdown.
Yep.
On 33 yards.
Yep.
The smallest of opportunities, and this man ended up basically changing the game for the Bills in that playoff game. The one play he made, right? So we did all this work just to prove or give an example as proof of who Shakir was early on and why he deserves even more opportunities than he's already gotten. Look, all of this is to say Shakir is worth all of that and more. And I didn't ever really think he wasn't a guy, especially with some of the catches that he dropped. I mean, I remember that I forgot who they were playing against, but there was a pass that he got where he was running that deep crosser and he leaped up into the air and caught the ball and came down on his head or something like that. And that's the only reason he dropped the ball. Because if it wasn't for his neck contorting a certain way, he would have held on to the ball. Me seeing that, it's none of our receivers is doing it. Not even Diggs is making acrobatic catches like that. And we got a guy with this kind of athleticism, and you ain't giving him the ball, especially with what they did to Isaiah McKenzie and letting him go.
Right.
It's that was the most athletic guy we had. You let him go. Now you bring Shakir in. Okay, well, who's this kid? Oh, he did that?
Yeah. I was excited about it. It's funny because my man texted me. I think he was trying to get a rise up. They do this all the time.
Yeah.
They just trying to get me going. He's like, he said, you said Shakir was a long shot to make the team. Boy, were you wrong? I'm like, when did I ever say that? Who were you texting that said that? Because it wasn't I.
Folks be hearing what they want.
They be hearing. I think he just wanted to get me going because I ain't texting him the last day or so.
You got a personal spin in your life,
right? Right. And no, Walter, if you didn't like Shakir, that's fine. I'm not saying you do because I know you say you're not a Shakir hater. You just don't see the ceiling that most do, and that's fine. And I read it in a different lens, so I get what you're coming from now, and I'm fine with it. It's fine. We'll talk about it over the years, and I told you so anyway.
Sure.
But no, when what I said, it's funny because when I looked at this question about Sean McDermott myself, I said, wouldn't Josh have to be hurt? That's the first thing I said. He has to be hurt. Secondly, can it be done outside of getting the number 1 seed and no one coming out of nowhere to take the Super Bowl from us? He didn't get it after breaking the drought in 2017. That you should have got it there. You didn't get it when we had one of the most prolific offenses with Josh Allen's coming of age and his best season ever, in my opinion. That gave us our first 13-win season in forever.
Yeah.
At that point, the door's closed. What else can you do? Even if you get to Super Bowl, it's too late because this is based on a regular season. Even if you get to the playoffs without Josh Allen, I mean, they're gonna say that was Brady. Most people that don't like Sean McDermott, that was Brady. That was in spite of. Somebody must have stole the playbook from him. I said, the defense would have to be lights out, but then that's not his defense. Supposedly, it'll be Babbitt's defense. So in essence, how can he ever win Coach of the Year at this point in time? I don't think it'd be done.
Yeah.
So by virtue of that, the next question I had was, should he be on a hot seat? Because If you can't, yeah. I mean, I know you're going to say yeah, and I know a lot of people say yeah, and to the degree I'm getting there. But 5 years of a defense that underperformed in the playoffs. That's case in point. That's his defense. He made crucial call to undermine the defensive coordinator in most of important times. 13 seconds and other. I mean, it was just all bad.
Yep.
He has the inability to adapt to. Oh wait, hit the thing.
Where is it? Oh, there we go.
There we go. We got to warn him. Yep. Got to warn him. He had the inability to adapt his defense to utilize the talent that we have here. I feel like Dorian Williams is festering while we play Milano and Johnson against heavy backs, against heavy, 12 situations. It's tough for me. If his defense has to carry the load, that might get him the coach of the year. But then again, he's not the defensive coordinator, so I would go to Babbage. So I think his 66% coaching win rate in the regular season is that's great. It's huge. That's great. 86 wins to only 45 losses, but what's his record in the postseason? 7-7. So I mean, you're looking at our defensive collapses every year. I mean, it's kind of like with Sean McDermott when he's the coach. I don't know if you've ever watched Shadows of Evil or played Shadows of Evil Zombies. The game it's all Call of Duty.
Oh, okay.
So I've had this thing for probably probably 10 years.
Okay.
And me and T we play, round 1, round 2, round 3. We're grooving, man.
I remember
the thing shooting out. We grooving.
Yeah.
And we know round 8 comes, this big monster comes.
Okay.
Never beat the monster.
Oh man.
Never beat the monster. Junie, no, but I know how to do it.
Don't break up that monster.
But
don't break up the monster ever again.
Oh, you know it? Okay.
Oh my God.
So the reason why I'm bringing it up is because the Chiefs are that monster. The Chiefs are like, oh, we grooving. We 13-4. We ran through Baltimore. The Chiefs. Right. Well, I guess I'll just relax and let it go. Because every year I just gotta relax and let it go. It's like when you see the Chiefs, it's like, well, this is where we get off. It's like, ding, stop requested. That's what it is, and I think for McDermott to have a longer leash in Buffalo, deservedly so, you have to get past the Chiefs. For him to not be
an interesting question, real quick. I'm sorry.
What you got?
So when you guys were playing this zombies Call of Duty, how many? You might know where I'm going. How many times did y'all play the levels through and get to the boss before y'all decided, we can't beat the boss? It's over.
It was probably like probably about the 8th shot. I'm more hard-headed than she is.
Okay.
Because she's like, screw this. I'm like, no, I'm YouTubing it. I gotta do this.
Wait, how many times before she gave up?
Oh, it didn't take long.
Oh, really?
She's like, man, screw this dude. I'm like, no, it's YouTube it. We laying in bed watching. I'm like, okay, so you gotta hit the left eye, the right. Okay, cool. Let's try it. I ain't hitting out one eye. I'm like, man, this is terrible.
Wow.
This is terrible. So he's laughing because he knows the monster.
So, I have no idea what any of that means.
It's so crazy because I needed a group of people to play with me, and we did that same thing. Key, I'm not gonna lie. We watched the same video that you talking about. We had one guy doing one job. He said, "You know what? I'm gonna shoot the eye." Bro didn't shoot the eye not once. He was like, "Dude, what are you doing?" We got slaughtered like 5 times in a row.
Unbelievable.
And you grooving all the way up to it. You like,
yes.
She's like, here he is. I'm like, no. I'm trying to run from him. It doesn't work. That's how I feel with this guy. It's just like, oh man, I mean, after 1 year, if we get knocked out by anybody else, or if we get knocked out by the Chiefs again, or if we beat the Chiefs and somebody else makes the Super Bowl and we don't, I think the hot seat has to warm up. You got to put that burner up. I really do.
Yeah. John Blackman Jr. says, right. And also think about this. We're cooks. It seems like, and then he says, he'll make a good play. He'll make a good play maybe for 8 yards and he's out because he took hits or they feel he got tired. I mean, you know what this is? This is you fumbled once, come off the field, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Come stand over here next to me and think about what you did.
Mm-hmm. Not
what they did with Devin Singletary, which is you fumbled, You sure? I didn't see it.
I didn't see it. It went out of bounds. It's okay.
Right? You sure about that? I don't remember a fumble.
Right. No
I mean, I
offense,
heard a
fumble.
whistle blow or something like that. I mean, pile up on the field, but I don't know what that was.
Fumble. His knees were down.
Yeah, I was looking through the play sheet. I missed the whole thing. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was like carte blanche.
Yeah.
It was a double standard. You took Cookout because he fumbled for the leading turnover machine in the league. In Devin Singletary, and then when he fumbles, he stays in. Gabe Davis drops the ball, he stays in. Josh Allen has millions of turnovers, he stays in. Stephon Diggs drops the ball, he stays in. But you got one guy, the rookie, who gets pulled out because he does one thing. Like, come on now.
Oh, Laura, come on now. he pops in occasionally just to say that, just to stick me in the side a little bit and then leave.
He was already here earlier.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. He got in quick and got out. But he's probably playing Madden now.
Oh snap!
He's a big time Madden player online. He's pretty good from what he says.
Well, you should play him because he's better than me.
I'm nowhere near how good I used to be.
Yeah,
nowhere near.
I just took it off my PlayStation. I got college football. That's how I play. So
yeah. I'm starting to get decent, but as you saw in our last game, there's a lot to be desired.
It was supposed to happen.
Yeah,
we need to evaluate people.
Right.
Nobody cares about preseason.
What people do care about?
Oh,
Reese T.
Oh man.
I mean, if you had a Reese T next to you.
Papa Bill said, "I clap y'all, man. I don't know about Rich. I mean, based on what he be saying, people can't touch him, man."
Well, while you clapping him on Madden, you should be cracking a Reese T. That Reese T is one part refreshing. You hear that nice and aerated. You get that little air vapor coming off the top. Oh, it's the time. It's the time. You like the Miller Genuine Draft commercials where they had the little dew, the condensation coming out. Never mind all that because it's delicious. And unlike that Miller Genuine Draft with the condensation that's nice and cold as it goes down, it's 2 parts healthy. That's what you can expect when you have 4 ingredients for Reed's tea. I don't drink tea, but let me tell you, that's a good drink there. What you doing? Head over to Reed's, get yourself a supply by the case or individual. Why'd you get yourself the individual? Get yourself a case. You won't be disappointed. But what do I know? See for yourself. Reed's Tea. Click the link in the description below and use the code PPP to let them know who sent you.
No, I definitely believe that Broncos have got the best defense. Yeah, for sure.
This man said, "I'll spank you and Sonic the Hedgehog."
He sure did. Brady, what up, man? He's with Jeremy Kelly and Diz.
Okay.
Yeah. Huh?
You want to see me in 2K? I used to get boys to send the work in 2K, man.
Yeah. Brady, I haven't seen Jeremy since last year's camp. He gone. I mean, he's in Carolina now, but still.
We got one. Silas with the call out. He said, "Big Papa Bill, what's a gamer tag? He wants all the smoke. All that smoke."
Man. Okay, my bad. I'm
there we go.
I'm dragging on that.
I love it.
You know what I would love to do is start a video series of our people in the chat playing each other. Sure. That would be dope. If we can find a way to stream that, we gotta set that up. That's official. That's my idea. I said it on the show. Is trademark. Nobody take that idea.
He put it in there. He put it in there.
Let's go.
He said, "Let me type." With him. Give me the comments.
Let's go. Yo, all right. I need to be able to see this. So one of y'all gotta broadcast this. We gotta see it. We gotta see it.
Oh, they doing on okay. So
they do it?
Okay.
Okay. All right. Friday nights, what time?
Fight Club.
I know. I need to see this.
I gotta see this.
I need to see this. Oh my gosh. You can stream it on you can do it on Discord.
I'll be over 20 minutes.
Oh snap! All right, Whittle, you got to put your. Did you put your tag in there?
He said, "You know where to find me at."
I mean, maybe. you streaming it on Twitter because that's about the only contact I get. Yeah.
There's a heavyweight slugfest.
All right. We do got to get going though because I gotta see this match. I gotta see this match, and I need to get some food in me, man.
Yeah.
This is dinner time.
I already did the Reed's Tea segment, and I gotta let some of this water out. So you better hurry up.
On Twitch, what's your where can I follow you on Twitch?
I got Twitch. What's up with it?
What's the tag? What's the tag on Twitch?
Oh, you a big deal. You actually put stuff on the internet. You ain't watching me play.
He said I actually put stuff on the internet.
You ain't watching me play. The only thing I might stream is UFC.
Kick YouTube. All right. Okay.
I already said a Papa Loser. You got to say I love James Cook.
All right, there it is right there. So we gonna go to Whittle 2K on Twitch. Y'all gotta check this out. I gotta see this. This is gonna be good. All right, so let's do this. I gotta turn this volume down.
Before you do that.
Yep.
Positive meter. How they do. We did all right, right?
We rang the horn a few times.
Yeah, Well, I mean, I let them know.
That's true. That is true. That is very true. But definitely let us know. I mean, we like thumbs. Thumbs are good. Thumbs are always good.
These ones.
Yeah, they don't let you give these anymore.
Not these,
they don't let you do that
because these hurt my feelings. Oh, my son, whoever thumbs down us, my son's looking for you.
For real.
8 years old. He said, "Who did this, Dad? I'm gonna find him." I said, "Oh." 8 years old. I'm gonna find him. That's your guy, brother. He'll lose cannon.
He is.
He's starting his own Charles Bronson movie. He's going revenge on everybody, trying to investigate and figure out where this thumb came from.
Was it you?
Right.
This way.
It's supposed to be utterly around. Sure.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Steve. Yeah. We go check it out. All right, cool.
Roy,
we all gonna be watching this.
Nobody's asking you, Roy. Your comments are not welcome. 3 out of 10.
Oh my gosh. All right, here we go. So we gotta jump out the window. It is time to Rizzo. So if you have not done so already, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It's free support. We ain't asking for no money. We ain't asking to just a click of the button. It's right there, right? If you cannot do it because you have an iPhone, if you really want to support and it's free, you can just go to a desktop or a laptop and go to YouTube there, and you can hit the subscribe button for there. Or if you only have an iPhone, you can go. I'm not sure if they have this on Safari where you can just use the desktop version of YouTube.
Bro, my mom did it. My mom subscribed to our show on her iPhone. It could be done.
Oh, well, there you go.
It could be done.
Yeah, it can.
Apparently, it's I mean,
if you have an iPhone,
I'm not doubting that mom has technical capabilities to figure it out.
She didn't even have a YouTube login. She got mad at me about it. You want me to put all this information in? Why do you need all this? I said, Mom, just please, come on.
Moms are.
We need that 100 subscribers. Please, Mom.
Oh my gosh. All right, and I do appreciate that. I mean, man, that's crazy. She was our 100th.
100 subscriber, and that's when she got her login. She said, "I'm not doing it until you get to 97."
that's a pretty steep ask.
Oh, she was serious.
Yeah. All right. So with that being said, do keep a lookout for the Madden content that is going to be coming out later this week. Probably Saturday or Sunday, one of the two. We like to give you content on days that are not that popular. So when it's not a football day or something like that, and you're looking for some content, bam, right there. But you got to be a member to do it. Okay, so you can go right to our YouTube channel, and there's a join button there. You just click that button, and it takes you right into the membership program, which will also give you access to our Discord chat. Discord chat is anything you want to talk about. It is off the chain, off the hook, however you want to describe it, but it is definitely worth your time. Again, our membership is only $1.99. That is the lowest you can possibly go on YouTube. So, I mean, for $2 a month, you get access to the membership content. One of the other things too, I think Renaissance mentioned it too. Renaissance wanted to be the third person on the show. If you're a member, you can get a 30-minute segment on the show. We're actually talking to Dorothy. Dorothy mentioned, she wanted to get on too. So this is something that we do with our members that we're willing to do. We haven't really had anybody ask until Dorothy and now Renaissance. So, but you got to be a member to do that now. Okay. In the same way that you cannot down us or talk bad about us unless you subscribe, you can't be on the show unless you're a member. All right.
There you go.
So make sure you get involved in that. Hit those buttons. Get in here. What are you waiting for? Other than that, that's all I got. Basketball Truth and Knowledge. That's not all I got. Basketball Truth and Knowledge is our producer Junie's podcast on his YouTube channel. He also has a gaming channel on YouTube and Twitch. Babyface Assassin 21. He does Marvel Rivals. He does Division 2. He does The Last of Us. A bunch of different games. But make sure you check that out too.
Yep, got a few coming in soon, so stay tuned.
Yep. All right. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody for tuning in with us, all 1,542 of you. If we can get like 300 people, if we can get 300 people to subscribe, that would help.
Yo, that would be, I would cry on set. I would cry on set.
Yeah, here's what we're efforting to do, because we really do want to reward people, even for the free contributions. That we still want to be able to reward people. So I am efforting right now for some some autograph gear, or something that we can get a hold of to be able to reward our 1,000th subscriber. I will let you know when we get that. It doesn't mean you have to wait to subscribe if you just want to be nice. But with that being said, again, I appreciate everybody that checked us out today. We will be back with you guys Friday 5:30.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So Friday 5:30, we will be back with you guys. Thank you so much. This has been the Post Podium Podcast, home of the All Truth, No Sodium Takes. I've been your co-host, Aramis.
This is 40 Keys, and yes, Spin, we need 327 subs. 327 subs. Spin has put it out there. He put an atmosphere. So if anybody feels in their heart to come on and join us on a regular basis, come on through.
That's hard to say. IOOLI, big time.
UOOLI.
Right. It's easier to say UO. I can't say IOOLI. But yeah, that between that and the competition that we had trying to get this whole closeout done in under 90 seconds.
Under 90 minutes.
Yeah, we can give away a hoodie. We can definitely do that. Yeah, for sure.
And this has been your producer in the building. Thank you very much.
Put the camera back on us. We're not done.
I don't care.
Right. We're joking. All right, folks. We had a good one with y'all. Hope y'all enjoyed this as much as we did. So have a good one.
All right. Good night, y'all. Peace.